gunrange.com.
How was everyone's first day at the North Carolina Education Lottery Winners Club?
Oh, me? I set the high score in mini golf.
I tried a new food called wasabi.
Oh, I did absolutely nothing. It was amazing.
There's no wrong way to be a winner. New $50,000 payout and $1 million cash word are here. The Winners Club awaits. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 in 3.54 to 3.58. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Drive into summer with the Honda CRV and Accord, your fun-to-drive, weekend getaway vehicles. From Honda, the 2024 Kelley Blue Book's KBB.com Best Value brand. So hurry in to the Honda Summer Event. For a limited time, well-qualified buyers can get a 2.9% APR on a 2025 CRV or 2024 Accord.
Contact your local Carolina Honda dealer for a great deal today.
See dealer for financing details based on 2024 Consumer Choice Awards from Kelley Blue Book. Visit kbb.com for more information.
Did your mobile provider just increase their prices again? Switch to Spectrum Mobile, the nation's fastest growing mobile provider. With Spectrum Mobile, you get unlimited talk, text, and data, plus nationwide 5G. Switching to Spectrum Mobile has never been easier. We'll pay off your phone balance up to $2,500. Stop dealing with price hikes from your cell phone company. Get Spectrum Mobile. Visit spectrum.com/itpays-to-switch for full details. Offer subject to change. Service not available in all areas. Restrictions apply.
Theater Raleigh presents Bull Durham, a new musical playing Reynolds Industries Theater in Durham, September 10th through the 22nd. Based on the classic movie, follow Crash Davis and his Durham Bulls story in a new genre. Details and ticket info at theaterraleigh.com.
Want to keep your gas-powered engines running like new? Stable's proprietary formulas are proven by third-party testing to outperform the competition in keeping fuel fresh, preventing corrosion, and cleaning the entire fuel system. With Stable, you can have confidence you are doing the right thing for your engine's long-term health. Just pour into your gas can or fuel tank, then top off with fresh fuel. At every fill-up or when you store, start with Stable. Available where fuel additives are sold.
It's August, and that means back to school is happening. Football season's getting here. You don't want to be cleaning when all that's going on. You want to be doing the fun stuff. Let Zero Res take the cleaning off your hands. It's a perfect time of year to get your air ducts cleaned this month with 25% off your air duct cleaning. And on top of that, you can get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned starting at $115. It's all happening at ZeroResRaleigh.com, or you can call 919-995-0000.
This hour of buzzer-beating, nail-biting, edge-of-your-seat sports action on 99.9 The Fan is powered by
Ritchie Law Firm Injury Lawyers.
Visit GotBryan.com.
That's GotBryan.com. WCMC-FM HD1 Holly Springs. This is the Adam Gold Show.
Like, just some thoughts about this 3-on-3 basketball that's on my television. It's make it, take it when you play outside.
It is.
Like, you score.
You don't just give it to them.
Right? We go to the top of the key.
Right.
And we check ball. Boom.
That's it.
So, team scores. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, like, the team takes it out of the net. The other team takes it out of the net. And now the ball's in play. You got to check it out behind the 3-point line, which makes sense. But no, it should be make it, take it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What are we doing?
I know.
Right?
This is the Adam Gold Show. As you can probably tell, I'm not Adam Gold. Tim Donnelly here, sitting in for Adam Gold today. Graham Hill will be producing the show as we're going to get you set up on this Tuesday for all of the biggest stories across sports. Starting with, it's actually usually when I host the Adam Gold Show, sitting in this chair, feeling the Adam Gold vibes, I try to start with like hockey or golf, maybe give you 2 minutes of soccer to just, you know, make sure you know that you're in the hands of someone that understands the show.
As you should.
Today, I don't know if I'm going to go that way. I'm going straight to a mullet.
Okay.
I'm not talking about the fish either. I think there's a fish called a mullet. I'm talking about the hairstyle. Grayson McCall, NC State incoming transfer quarterback, with all of the hopes and dreams of one of the top 25 teams in the coaches poll that came out yesterday. Number 22 on the coaches poll, NC State. Oh, somebody just popped into my ears. We have breaking news a minute and a half into me. And that breaking news is Bryce Young will not be playing in the preseason opener on Thursday for the Carolina Panthers. Thank you very much to Graham Hill and here at 99.9 The Fan, our very own Dennis Cox, who presented that information. Not playing in the preseason. Let me cover my bases here, okay? Because we were going to talk just so you know, I'm gonna have to leave you hanging on the mullet story.
Yeah, now you're really throwing off the typical vibes of the Adam Gold Show.
I'm gonna have to leave you hanging on the mullet story because I want to focus in on this a little bit here. We can come back to the mullet story. I want to cover my bases. There are a few ways where I think, and when I say a few, I mean two. There are a couple ways in which I think Bryce Young not playing in Thursday's preseason game makes sense. And I'm not saying we have to be given this information, but this is where I think him not playing makes sense. If A, he's dealing with any kind of an owie, a boo-boo, right? An ouchie. Sorry, I have a 3-year-old at home. I talk like I'm talking to a toddler when it comes to injuries.
I'm also producing, so it works out.
If he has a stinger, if he has a blister on a hand, it doesn't have to take much. But if he is already hurt and you don't want to put him out there, that's fine. Right. In the regular season, there's the difference between hurt and injured. In the preseason, hurt, injured, sore, like it all kind of adds up to the same. And that's if it's a person important to your team, you don't play them. If they're not trying to make the team, you don't play them. The other would be if the offensive line has some injuries, so you don't want to play your first team offensive line. I will, if I can avoid it at all costs, avoid playing my starting quarterback with anything but the best offensive line I can possibly put out on the field. So if I think my quarterback needs reps, guess what? The starting offensive line is getting reps. Even if you're all veterans and the quarterback is the youngster, you're all getting reps. Barring those two things, Bryce Young needs reps. Right? Barring a couple injuries, and you don't have to disclose them, right? If they're small enough, if they're literal like ouchies, you don't have to tell us. But barring that, if that's not true on the inside of that facility, Bryce Young needs reps. And it's not just him out there it's different than a practice rep, right? You might say, oh, well, he gets reps in 7-on-7 or 11-on-11. Yes, but they're not game day reps. There is a difference. Just like there's a difference between the preseason and the regular season. I'm not pretending that you get the exact look you'd get in the regular season and the preseason. I'm also not going to sit here and pretend that practice in the preseason is the same.
I mean, look, I kind of have to call my baby ugly a little bit yesterday just because I was saying, I guess we'll just see what you see is what you get in the season opener for the Carolina Panthers. But to me, that's a disservice to not only Carolina Panthers fans, but to Bryce Young as well. I mean, you don't know what you're going to get if you don't play. So in theory, Bryce Young does need to play. He just needs to get the in-game reps. Just if it's like, one drive each preseason game. No drives is the worst drives possibly right now for this Carolina Panthers offense.
Here's the way I look at it. And I've said this on air, and I'm going to continue saying this. Last year was a wash for Bryce Young, right? For reasons outside of his control, he really had no opportunity to develop much and no opportunity to have much success. Right, he had an offensive line that was a sieve in front of him. 15 different offensive guards played in front of him. That's absurd. Not to mention Ike Ekwonu not getting it done at left tackle, particularly in pass blocking. He had wide receivers that routinely could not get open outside of Adam Thielen. And when they did, there were oftentimes, I'd call them adventures at the end of the play. Meaning DJ Chark dropping multiple consecutive passes. Meaning Jonathan Mingo. We referenced this yesterday on the air. Jonathan Mingo, when Bryce Young was rolling out of the pocket through a pass, jumped before he caught it and almost strained to step outside of the out-of-bounds line in a really weird maneuver. So that was taking place. Like there were adventures at the end of these passes, and they weren't the good kind of adventures. So I will. What I'll say is, I'm treating this upcoming year kind of as Bryce Young's rookie year part 2, right? I'm treating it as last year was a wash. I'm not going to hold it against you, even though you were statistically one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL.
Right.
But I'm also not going to give you credit for it, right? I'm not going to say, oh, now he's a vet. Now he's a second-year player. Now he doesn't need preseason because he's seen what it's like to play in the NFL last season. To me, last season almost doesn't exist, right? At least that's how I'm going to ask myself. I'm going to try to see this upcoming season for the Panthers and specifically Bryce Young. If last year doesn't exist and this is rookie year part 2, you don't see rookies sit out of preseason.
And I mean, that is a disservice to Bryce Young, too, just because if you listen to a lot of nationwide shows that we have right here on our network, 999 The Fan, it seems like the arrows all point to Bryce Young as the problem for last season, and then the success for this season is all going to be dictated on how well Bryce Young is going to bounce back. And part of that is true. All right, but
yes.
I think outside of the big picture, it also comes down to these new sign-ins. Dave Canales is a head coach. Can he establish a run game? Because he says he wants to get the run game going, but it is fair to point out that during his time with Tampa Bay and Seattle, they didn't have the best run game in the league.
They did not have the most effective or efficient running game. They did stay committed to the running game. And right, the coach would say the reason why our passing game was efficient, especially if you're looking at last year in Tampa where he was calling plays, the reason why Mike Evans had a big year and averaged near the top of the league in yards per catch is because teams had to, whether they were running the ball well or not, expend some of their resources, deploy some of their defensive players up towards the line of scrimmage. So it is a kind of style of play calling, whether it's effective or not, to begin with the run. Which I think they will do this year. I think Chuba Hubbard's going to get a lot of carries early on, Miles Sanders spelling him, and then I think it's going to be Chuba Hubbard and Jonathan Brooks and maybe Miles Sanders spelling them, getting a ton of carries as the season moves along once Jonathan Brooks gets healthy. But all of that comes back to Bryce Young needs reps.
Yeah.
Bryce Young's he needs reps, and I'll even go like psychologically, right? Let's go deep into the recesses of our brains for a second here. I think the team needs to see Bryce Young have success. I think it's more likely to happen in the preseason. I think they need to see him throw a long touchdown pass. There were points in time last year where we were too far into the season, and the longest offensive play from scrimmage was like 28 yards. I think they need to see Bryce Young, and I'm not saying they need to see it like, oh, if he did well in the preseason, now we can get behind him. I think it's more subconscious. Right? I think it's more subconscious just to see success and get used to having success on offense and seeing big plays get made. So then, when you see him drop back, you're not going, little internal cringe, right? Those involuntary instinctual reactions, right now they're not good for Bryce because you haven't seen anything else. Again, not all his fault, right? Offensive line wasn't good enough. Receivers weren't good enough. The play callers were changing seemingly by the week. Right? It was Frank Reich. Then it was Thomas Brown. Then it was back to Frank Reich. Then when he got fired, it was back to Thomas Brown. Like those things. And Josh McCown was his quarterback's coach, and he wasn't his quarterback's coach. Deuce Staley was the running back's coach, and he wasn't the running back's coach. Right? All of those things come into play. So it's not necessarily all his fault. But nobody on that team, unless they played with him at Alabama or played against him in the SEC, has seen Bryce Young play a great football game. They've seen him play good. They've seen him lead game-winning drives twice last year, but they haven't seen him play a great football game. I think they need to see him do that, which is why, and I've said this over the last few weeks, not only would I play Bryce Young, I'd play him a series or two more than the opposing team plays their starting defensive players. Get him a long touchdown drive. I don't care if it's against the twos. Your brain doesn't know that, right? For all my golfers out there, see? Now it's the Adam Gold Show.
There we go.
Now I'm talking golf.
We tied it back all together.
Now I'm talking golf. There's a common belief in sports psychology when it comes to golf that your brain doesn't hear no or doesn't hear don't. Sorry, doesn't hear don't. So if you're on the tee and you have to hit it over water onto the green, you shouldn't be saying in your brain, don't hit it in the water. Don't hit it in the water. Because your subconscious brain doesn't recognize don't. So all your subconscious brain hears is hit it in the water, hit it in the water, hit it in the water. So instead you should think positively, right? You should think like hit it on the green, hit it on the green. Just a different way to think. To me, your subconscious brain doesn't know that those guys out there are the Patriots' backups, right? They see a 50-yard touchdown. They just see a 50-yard touchdown. Your subconscious brain, where it comes to building up that confidence in a player. I do not like, again, barring injuries, barring something we don't know, got to leave yourself that trap door, that escape hatch. Barring that to the offensive line or Bryce or like the entirety of the receiving core, I do not like him not playing in the preseason, particularly the first game, where if he does tweak something, ankle tweak, whatever, wrist sprain, you have enough time before game one for him to get right.
We do have some fresh sound. Thank you to Dennis Cox for pulling this. Fresh sound to go along with some fresh news. Bryce Young benched for the preseason. It's weird.
Let's not word it that way. He's
not benched, but
they are not playing Bryce Young in the first preseason game.
Bench would be he played in the first game, and
bench would be he's no longer quarterback one. So it's he's not playing because they don't want him. Like he's lost his spot on the depth chart. He's not benched, but he's not playing on Thursday. Who's the audio from?
This is from head coach Dave Canales discussing why Bryce Young will not play in the preseason opener.
Bryce will
not play, okay? And then we'll take that kind of week to week and get a sense for, do we need to get him out there in this system and kind of get a couple of series, and do that. That's something that, I've done in the past. We've done both. So for this game, he will not play.
Interesting. It's interesting. Like, Here's the part that is tough for me to wrap my head around. And if you're just tuning in, it's the Adam Gold Show. Tim Donnelly here sitting in for Adam Gold. The news that broke right about the start of the show, right about noon, is that the Carolina Panthers will not be playing Bryce Young in Thursday's preseason opener. You just heard some audio from Dave Canales where he said they're still deciding on what to do for the next week and the next week. I think this plan should have been hammered out. And maybe it is, and Dave Canales is just playing a little coy. He's playing a little possum with us, and he knows how everything he expects to break. Like, to me, when you are an offensive-minded head coach, hired with pretty much a mandate to figure out a way to make Bryce Young work, right? The reason why Dave Canales is the head coach of the Carolina Panthers is because of his history in the room that helped reclaim the career of Geno Smith, and then his role as the offensive coordinator that turned Baker Mayfield in from the player we saw in Carolina to a player that just signed a $100 million extension. Like, that is why Dave Canales is here. They brought in a bar rescue, only it's like quarterback rescue guy, to help Bryce Young reach his potential. When that is the reason you're there, how is it 2 days before the preseason game and you're still deciding if your quarterback is going to play? Wouldn't that be a plan that you spent hours and hours, days and days, maybe weeks and weeks going over what would be best for Bryce throughout the offseason? And now it's just about staying on track and executing that plan? Now, I'm not saying you can't be fluid and change, right? I'm not saying you can't go, actually, you know what? He needs this or he needs that. Seeing him in training camp, here's what we think. Like, you can pivot, but it shouldn't be you're going back and forth. It should be we have a plan, and you're just making a decision whether to deviate from that plan or not.
Well, talk about staying consistent. Tim, as someone who played quarterback, maybe you can answer this question. Does this throw off your routine a little bit if you're Bryce Young after having 4 days of practice? They're going to take tomorrow off, I believe, to travel up to New England. But now he has to sit an extra 2 days now between practice and then not playing at all Thursday night. Does that throw you off a little bit as a QB?
No. The preseason is always kind of wonky. Once you get into the regular season where every Monday is the same, every Tuesday is the same, every Wednesday, then if suddenly you're getting thrown off, right, like a Thursday night game can kind of make it weird for you. Yeah. A Monday night game can kind of make it weird for you. A trip overseas can kind of make it weird for you. In training camp, you don't even know what day it is. You're just showing up wherever the coaches want you to be. So I don't think that's kind of what the decision is. By not playing him, you guarantee yourself no negative effects, right? He's not going to get hurt. Okay, that's the main logic. I don't think you're risking what you said, like throwing off a rhythm if he doesn't get into play, right? He'll be the guy with the earphone in on the sideline talking. Like, he'll still be engaged.
Get a read of the offense.
But you are also, by taking away every negative effect, you're also taking away really any chance for him to improve, right? He's not going to be more ready week 1 because he didn't play, right? He won't be any less ready than he is right now. You're not risking anything as far as taking steps back, but you're passing up the opportunity to potentially step forward.
Yeah.
All right, go out there, have a great day. Offense looks crisp. Bada boom, bada bang. Now all of a sudden the entire vibe of training camp changes. Bryce Young, second year, that's building up a little momentum. Like, that's what you're risking, and I think that's important. Not to mention, and I will say this until I am blue in the face, reps are important to young quarterbacks. And young, like 25 years and younger, and I'll go down to like 7-year-olds. Like, reps are important to young quarterbacks. If you are in high school right now and you are maybe a sophomore and the coach approaches you and says, hey, you're good enough to be our varsity backup quarterback, where you get to practice with the best kids in school. Or you could go be the starter on JV, where you won't get to wear the varsity uniform. You won't get to walk around on game day with the Letterman's jacket and have everybody go, oh, are you going to the away game at so-and-so high school? But you'll start on JV and you'll play every game. Pick the reps. Young quarterbacks need reps. Bryce Young last year, again, I'm kind of giving him like the hands off, do what you want move, right? Because last year was so much out of his control that went so wrong. It's also fair to say that he didn't look like a finished product last year, right? It's also fair to say that he didn't look like a guy who's like, I'm good. You know who actually did look like that at times last year?
Who's that?
C.J. Stroud. And guess who's playing in the first preseason game? C.J. Stroud.
And who won Offensive Rookie of the Year last season.
And broke a bunch of records and has, is getting Tank Dell back from injury and getting Stephon Diggs out of what was that, a trade, free agency, whatever you want to call it. Joe Mixon is being added to the offense. Like, they're getting vets and getting healthier, and C.J. Stroud's still playing. I lean that way over the way that the Panthers are leaning here. Go ahead. One last thing to add?
Well, we do have some more sound from Dave Canales. Again, thank you to Dennis Cox, who's working behind the scenes here to get this in. This is Dave Canales discussing if Bryce Young will get a fair read of the offense while not playing the first preseason opener.
Not the way Jack's been playing. So that's the cool part, is I'm excited about that. And we brought in Jake Luton as well, a guy that's been around a couple of different teams. I was with him in Seattle for a little bit. So a guy that knows how to play football and function, that's what we really needed to feel good about the evaluation and how important that is, So we brought him in. We're working him into some of the wording. Some of it's the same, a little bit different in some, but we got to make sure our cadence is right so we can just get the play started. And he's really sharp. And so I'm glad he's here, and he's going to give us that ability to evaluate our guys.
Let's talk about that quickly. That's the other part of Bryce Young not playing, is now every other quarterback gets bumped up the depth chart, right? Andy Dalton's already hurt, so he's not playing. Now Bryce Young's not playing. It sounds like from that soundbite, Jack Plummer, need to be clear there. Jack Plummer, not Jake Plummer. Jake Plummer, I think he's got a mushroom farm somewhere in the Midwest right now, but was a long-time NFL quarterback, Jake the Snake. Jack Plummer looks like he'll move into the, and I don't believe they're related, will move into the starting role, and Jake Luton will back him up. That is more difficult to evaluate the rest of your roster.
Yeah, when he was bringing up the comments about evaluating, I was like, we're evaluating Jack Plummer here?
Well, yes. I mean, every time a quarterback steps on the field, you're being evaluated in the NFL. But, like, if you're a wide receiver, say you are trying to, like Emir Smith-Marset, and you kind of feel like you've established yourself as some kind of a returner, but you want a bigger role in the offense. You're out there trying to run routes and get open and have offensive success. If the quarterback can't help you do that, you can't showcase your ability. There is a certain base level of play you need at quarterback in order to know if anyone else is doing their job, right? Quarterback's not seeing it. He's holding the ball for 5 seconds. Offensive line is going to give up a lot of sacks. That's not necessarily their fault, right? Wide receivers, if they walk away with no catches, but they were open a few times and the quarterback misses them, that's not necessarily the wide receiver's fault. I like Jake Luton coming in as their player because he is a guy with NFL experience. He's played in real NFL games. He has experience in Dave Canales' offense, so he's not exactly starting from square zero. He had some experience out there in Seattle. Also played with Carolina last year, so has some experience with the players on the roster. I just don't know how much you can judge the rest of the offense when Jack Plummer is out there. No disrespect to Jack Plummer. He was really good at Louisville. Right, we watched a lot of him in the ACC. He was a really good player, but he's an undrafted rookie free agent. Imagine being a wide receiver or a tight end trying to make the team, and you feel like you need to open some eyes in the first preseason game, especially knowing the Panthers have the first waiver pick because they finished dead last year, which means when cuts start happening on other teams, the Panthers get first pick of all of those guys to add to their roster. So the end of the Panthers roster is on shaky ground because you're competing against everybody that gets cut from every other team in the NFL. You feel like you got to make a splash. You went from playing with maybe Andy Dalton or heck, maybe even getting some reps with Bryce Young to suddenly you're going, Jake Luton got on our practice field like yesterday, and now I got to be on the same page with him on Thursday.
Yeah, doesn't that throw out the whole consistency and chemistry of the offense right now?
It's a really tough situation for everybody involved to get a true evaluation. Is that wide receiver not making plays, or is that wide receiver not being given the chance to make plays? It's not the easiest thing to discern. Right? Was their timing off, or was the quarterback's timing off?
Yeah.
But I do like the Luton hire. I just think, or hire, that's a weird way to put it, signing, because I think with knowing Andy Dalton's going to be back in a week and a half, whatever it's going to be, you didn't want to bring in Ryan Tannehill or some of these other bigger names that were available because you don't have to. But you did need somebody that's an NFL quarterback for all of the reasons we just mentioned. So Luton kind of threads that needle nicely and has some experience with Dave Canales' offense. I just don't think I'd like to put as much responsibility preseason week 1 on his plate as it looks like they're going to do. That seems a little aggressive to me. Just a tad. But I guess you do what you got to do. We're going to take a break, but when we come back, I promised a mullet story. I promised that we are going to dive as far into a haircut as anyone else that covers college football. I'll tell you why coming up next right here on The Adam Gold Show.
Raleigh to Boone, Charlotte to Chapel Hill. Your Carolina is covered. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Atlantic Spas and Billiards, Buffalo Brothers, and Newcomb & Company want you to see football live in Las Vegas. It's our Fan Football Flyaway. Starting Thursday, we'll reveal keywords every hour from noon to 6. Text in the keywords to enter for chances to win a trip or two to Las Vegas. We'll fly you to an amazing room at the Mandalay Bay Hotel and Casino, and we'll hook you up with seats for the Carolina-Las Vegas game. The Fan Football Flyaway, only on 99.9 The Fan.
Let me talk to those of you who are contact lens wearers. Are you tired of wasting time and money every day, putting them in, taking them out, cleaning, ordering new ones, glasses, prescription sunglasses? I could go on and on. Dr. Lori Travers and Travers LASIK are your answers to my question. In just 5 minutes per eye, Dr. Lori can put you on the path to 20/20 vision. Plus, it's totally painless. You can go back to work the next day. And 2 years, 0 interest financing is available. And we're throwing in $1,000 off. Now the hard part. You actually have to pick up the phone. 919-510-6830. Make the call now. The consultation is free. You could go online, traverslasik.com, but you can call 919-510-6830, 919-510-6830. Go to 20/20 vision in less than 10 minutes. Dr. Lori Travers, Travers LASIK. See what you've been missing.
The light is fading, your hands are sore, and the last tool's been put away. Now is the time to feel the satisfaction that comes with a job well done. But when you get your tools from Harbor Freight, something about the job feels a little different. Your wallet. Because we believe that everyone deserves hardworking tools at hardworking prices. And that's what we have here. So, whatever you do, do it for less at Harbor Freight.
The new Boost Mobile network is offering unlimited talk, text, and data for just $25 a month for life.
That sounds like a threat.
Then how do you think we should say it?
Unlimited talk, text, and data for just $25 a month for the rest of your life?
I don't know.
Until your ultimate demise.
What if we just say forever?
Okay.
$25 a month, forever.
Get unlimited talk, text, and data for just $25 a month with Boost Mobile forever.
After 30 gigabytes, customers may experience slower speeds. Customers will pay $25 a month as long as they remain active on the Boost Unlimited plan.
Are you ready to rule the realm? With a new Game of Thrones scratch-off from the North Carolina Education Lottery, you can. This epic game gives you the chance to win up to $200,000 instantly, or a trip to beautiful Napa Valley to play the Seven Kingdoms experience, where you could take home your share of up to $7 million in cash prizes. So treat yourself like royalty. Play the Game of Thrones scratch-off today, and let your reign begin. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds are 1 in 4.31. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career and they talked to me about it.
He was done in just months.
I did do it online.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months with zero experience at My Computer Career.
It worked for me and I know it can work for you.
It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu.
Injured in a motorcycle accident? Call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS before you call your insurance company. The insurance company wants to pay you the least amount possible. Law Tigers are riders too, so we understand what your bike and gear are worth and what you're going through after an accident. Your case evaluation is always free, and we don't get paid until your case settles. Call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, North Carolina's motorcycle lawyers. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
This is Adam Gold.
Frankly, I'm not sure that there is a sport that we could theoretically even put in the Olympics that isn't. I said bowling. Yeah, maybe.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Croquet? Lawn darts?
I'm waiting for cornhole.
Oh, there's somebody that thinks, yeah.
The Adam Gold Show.
The Adam Gold Show here on in Raleigh, 99.9 The Fan. I'm Tim Donnelly sitting in for Adam Gold. Thank you to everybody else around the state of North Carolina for joining us as well. Adam out for the day, as is Victoria, so you get myself and Graham Hill bringing you the biggest stories in sports. And as I started the show with, before being rudely interrupted by breaking news out of the Carolina Panthers post-practice pressers about Bryce Young not playing on Thursday in the preseason opener, which, by the way, was announced earlier today if you're just tuning in. I was talking about the important stuff like a haircut. I'm talking Billy Ray Cyrus circa 1980s, which, by the way, it's making a comeback. Talking about the mullet. Mullet's like kind of trendy now again, right? There's country music stars rocking it, and Grayson McCall, North Carolina State quarterback, transfer from Coastal Carolina, is growing his mullet back out. That is a small, seemingly insignificant iota of a thing, just like one atom. It's the tiniest thing possible, seemingly. But I think it shows a little bit more. It shows what NC State wants from their new quarterback. One of the main things I want from my quarterbacks, and I've said this for decades, right? And luckily I've been in this business, so you can probably go back and find it on some very raw, very green, very probably not fun to listen to podcasts from like 15 years ago. I've been saying this. One of the main things I want from my quarterback at any level is to be themselves. I don't want you doing a Peyton Manning impression. I don't want you doing a Russell Wilson impression where you always say the right thing and you know, it's almost political. It's almost like you're a politician trying to shake hands and kiss babies, unless that's you, right? If that's you, do it. If it's not you, don't. Because the quarterback has to be authentic, and you can't be sitting there at any point in time thinking, what would Peyton do? What would Tom Brady do? What would Phillip Rivers do? Right? If you're from the city and you go to NC State and you watch Phillip Rivers highlights and suddenly you're running around the practice field all golly darn, oh shucks, I'm going to look at you going like, stop that right now. Be you. And Grayson McCall, when he took over the NC State quarterback job, right, he came from Coastal Carolina, which is a little bit like college football Twilight Zone. You're on a beach. The field is teal. It's a different color. You're as somebody that played at the University of Delaware, I'm allowed to say this. You got a chicken for a mascot, right? The Chanticleers. You don't even call it like something people know. Like it's a weird spot over there.
You've had College Game Day at your stadium too, so I mean you've played like in some big time environments as well.
Do you remember? You probably don't. This was a while ago. There was a super viral coach post-game rant about I don't want cat, meow. I want dogs. Do you not remember this? Oh my! You're gonna have to Google it at one point in time. That was the Coastal Carolina guy from like 15, 20 years ago. All these players running around. Oh, do my wristbands match? They're like cats. Meow, meow, meow. It's. If you know what it is, you're laughing with me. If you don't know what it is, go watch, and then you'll be laughing with me. That's Coastal Carolina. That's where Grayson McCall became a college football superstar with a mullet, right? With a little bit of look at me, with a little bit of haha, I've got the funny haircut.
Maybe this is just as simple as you can take Grayson McCall out of Coastal Carolina, but you can't take the Coastal Carolina out of Grayson McCall. Conway, South Carolina, baby.
I'm not even saying like it's Coastal that influenced the haircut. What I'm saying is when he moved to NC State, he cut the hair. He put together a professional haircut, right?
That's right, he did.
For ACC kickoff, he wanted to be there, right, looking like a LinkedIn profile picture.
Clean-cut professional. CEO
of the franchise, right? The team said, we want the Grayson McCall with the mullet. The team said, no. We don't want you being something you're not. We don't want you burying your personality. We don't want that. We want the guy that became the star at Coastal Carolina. So I'm not saying like Coastal was the reason he had the mullet. I'm saying Coastal was weird enough and maybe under the radar enough that he felt comfortable wearing the mullet. Because that's what he is and that's how he represented himself. He came to NC State, more eyeballs, bigger stadium, power conference football, college football playoff aspirations, all of big-time NIL money, feels like a business. Let me get looking sharp here. Let me get looking wedding day fresh. But guess what? They didn't recruit the guy with the fresh haircut, gel in it, right? They recruited the guy that wants all eyes on him, that is comfortable looking a little different. Hey, look at me. That's the guy that they want to be their quarterback. And guess what? It's a little galvanizing because guess who else is wearing mullets now or growing them out? The offensive line. Right now it's becoming a thing. Now it's becoming, no. You don't change to fit in with what you think this needs. We change to fall in behind our leader. You are our leader is what NC State is telling Grayson McCall. It's a little thing, but it's important, right? I see this. We'll use a former Carolina Panthers quarterback. I've seen this with Baker Mayfield throughout his career, where when he is a little brash, when he's a little trash talky, right? When he's, and again, using a Panthers example, when he's taking his helmet off and headbutting people anyway, that's when he's at his best. Some guys are that way. Some guys, like, imagine Gary Payton or Kevin Garnett without talking trash. Some guys, that's how they get their juices flowing. And then, in Baker's situation, right, you get a big contract or maybe you get humbled a little bit and you don't get the big contract, you get traded. Suddenly you're a little less brash. That doesn't work for you, right? Baker Mayfield was the guy who left Texas Tech after being the Big 12 Offensive Rookie of the Year because they weren't giving him a scholarship. Where did he go? He truly walked on at Oklahoma. Not preferred walk-on. Like, he had to sit out a year, was playing intramural sports, wasn't even allowed to practice with the team. He went and waited his time at Oklahoma. That's absurd.
And then went on to have one of the best college football seasons we've seen in a long time, Heisman Trophy winner. The rest is history.
That's absurd because Oklahoma brings in 4- and 5-star quarterbacks every year. Right? You're going to go walk on somewhere and ask for an opportunity after a year away from the game. Go to UTEP. Right? Go to Houston. There's a lot of schools in Texas. You went to Oklahoma.
So what you're telling me is Grayson McCall is going to have the same season this year that Baker Mayfield. No, I'm joking.
What I'm telling you is, as long as he's not out there thinking, what would Russell Wilson do? What would a quarterback? What would the ideal quarterback of a Power 4 conference school do? Instead, he's out there just instinctively reacting and slinging it, spinning. He can throw it. Completed 70% of his passes through his college career. Guy knows what he's doing. See it, think it, do it. And if you can eliminate think it, just see it and do it, that's even better. It's I don't know. Every time I work with Graham, the movie references are always right on the tip of my tongue.
Here we go.
Major League 2.
Yep.
We're in on this?
Yes.
You've seen Major League 2?
Yes.
Wild Thing. It's the perfect example. Wild Thing in Major League 1. By the way, spoiler alert for movies that are like 35 years old. Wild Thing, right? Ricky Vaughn, as played by Charlie Sheen. He had the haircut, right? The rock and roll haircut with the zigzags in the back. What happens in Major League 2? Suddenly he's like a spokesman for Pepsi. He's wearing suits. He has a nice, fresh, like Charlie Sheen turned into Martin Sheen haircut. He's talking about, I don't throw fastballs, I throw the eliminator, right? He's gone full corporate. And then by the end, when he gets back to pitching well, what does he do? He breaks out the thick-rimmed glasses. He carves the haircut back into the back of his head, and he just throws big hot fire, Ricky. Give him the heater, Ricky. Now, it's not that dramatic. Like, it's always going to be more dramatic in a movie. Don't get me wrong. Right? It wasn't like Grayson McCall suddenly was, pitching products online or on television like he's Billy Mays and completely selling out. But there is something for your quarterback being themselves, right? Cam Newton, Carolina Panthers. You can say a lot of things about Cam Newton. You can't say he was ever trying to be or imitate anybody else. And I think that's why he was able to break down so many barriers when it comes to being a quarterback as far as running ability, goal line back, scoring, and everything else. Don't give me what you think the best quarterback is. Give me yourself as the best quarterback. And if Grayson McCall, if that means you got to rock a mullet to feel like you out there, business in the front, party in the back, baby.
Well, the good news for Grayson McCall is I don't know if Robert Knight can really influence the look of the mullet. I'm sure he can tell him it looks good, but Robert Knight has adapted so well with every quarterback that he's had in his career as an offensive coordinator to fit in that system and work around the quarterback and what they do well. And for Grayson McCall, last year at Coastal Carolina, you saw it with a lot of RPOs, play action, quarterback keepers. I'm sure NC State fans don't want to see the quarterback be the leading rusher once again this year, but if Grayson McCall can tuck in and run, use that to his strength.
Grayson McCall, again, see it, read it, get it out of your hands. So many studs, weaponry, as they call it, right? Wide receivers, running backs, tight ends. See it, get the ball in their hands. Even if Grayson McCall's got a little wiggle in his legs, like you mentioned, he can get jiggy out of the pocket. Not as well as Casey Concepcion or Noah Rogers or Justin Jolie or Jordan Waters or Hollywood Smothers or any of these other guys, or Wesley Grimes. There's too many to mention. This is the Adam Gold Show, and when we come back, past the wheels of this thing, past the steering wheel, over to Graham Hill, who you just heard from, for one-timers, coming up next.
Going beyond the box scores. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
The 2024 Atlantic hurricane season is predicted to be among the most active we've ever experienced. Prepare your home now against power outages of all types with a Generac home standby generator from Alternative Power. After sensing a power outage, a Generac generator automatically restores your home's power, helping protect you and your family. Act now for a free 10-year warranty on a Generac home standby generator. Terms and conditions apply. See more at alternativepower.com. Alternative Power, North Carolina's Generac experts.
The North Carolina News Network and the North Carolina Healthcare Association invite you to listen to our latest podcast. Hospitals play a key role in emergency readiness alongside first responders who protect us from any scenario. During this month's conversation on the state of healthcare, we take an in-depth look at the role that First Health Moore Regional Hospital played at the U.S. Open in Pinehurst. We'll talk with Moore Regional President Jonathan Davis, who says,
"We start our day with an 8:30 safety huddle. We call it looking back, looking forward in our day, to kind of highlight and bring forward any concerns or organizational issues, community issues that may occur."
We also speak with Dr. Catherine Newell with First Health EMS. She reiterates,
"We spent about a year beforehand meeting with federal, state, and local representatives to ensure a thorough preparation for the event."
You can listen to our latest conversation wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts or by visiting nchealthcare.org.
From the mountains to the coast, there is tremendous pride in North Carolina agriculture. NC Forever Farms is a program recognizing family farms that are protecting precious working lands vital to the future of agriculture. Through permanent agricultural conservation easements, these NC Forever Farms will always be protected from development. Learn more about preserving family farms through the Farmland Preservation Division of the North Carolina Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services by visiting ncadfp.org.
Healthcare.gov is here for you when life happens. If you lost your health coverage because of turning 26, going off Medicaid, leaving your job, or moving, you could be eligible to enroll in new coverage now. And if you need to update your coverage because of marriage or having a baby, you could also be eligible. But don't wait. There's a limited time to enroll. Check your eligibility at healthcare.gov today. Life happens. Get covered. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Are you struggling with your Medicare drug costs? The NC Department of Insurance SHIP program may be able to help. The Extra Help and Medicare Savings programs are available for those who qualify, but you have to apply. Contact SHIP today to see if you qualify. Visit ncshiip.com or call toll-free at 855-408-1212. SHIP provides free, unbiased help in all 100 counties.
Project supported by grants from the Administration for Community Living. Contents do not necessarily represent official views of, nor an endorsement by ACL, HHS, or the U.S. government.
NC Medicaid is healthcare coverage for more North Carolinians. Just go to medicaid.nc.gov and fill out the needed information. Or call our Medicaid Contact Center. You can put pen to paper and fill out an application. And email, mail, or drop it off at your local Department of Social Services. And you can work with a navigator like Marvell at your local library. Don't wait, you can apply at any time and get covered starting the date of your application.
NC Medicaid is for more people. See if you qualify at medicaid.nc.gov.
AARP can help you get healthy and stay healthy, whether it's staying active, navigating your benefits, or caring for loved ones. Learn more each week on AARP Without Limits when we meet people who can provide you with a bit of lift or inspiration to live your happiest life at 50 plus. You can find the latest episodes of AARP Without Limits wherever you listen to your podcasts.
This is Adam Gold.
We had lightning hit a pretty large tree.
Oh, yeah.
About 150 yards from the house. It'll be my sign to go win the lottery. But you know what? I'm sorry, I can't. I have rules. If it's not over $1 billion, I'm not playing.
Yeah, still just millions.
The Adam Gold Show.
It is the Adam Gold Show. I'm Tim Donnelly sitting in for Adam Gold. There you go, a little music. A little Santana. Quick, I just heard that rejoin, and it spurred a quick story. When I was in high school, my grandfather was the most like, I'm going to attend every sporting event possible. We once did the math because I have two cousins that played college football, one that played in the NFL. I played at college football. All of the cousins played in high school at least. He played college football. His father-in-law was a coach. We once did the math. He had seen like thousands and thousands of football games in his career. But he was there for track meets and everything. And one time we had a summer off-season pass camp, just quarterbacks and receivers. This is high school. And we're out there throwing, and my grandfather was the only one in the stands. High school stands, right? Big metal bleachers. And he's the only one there sitting. One old guy, bunch of high schoolers running around. And it doesn't happen often, but every once in a while there's like a nice day outside. Maybe it's a little overcast, but the storm starts with just a giant crack of thunder. It's like, oh, wow, where did that come? Boom! Then the rain starts. We're sitting there throwing, right? And I kid you not, this is 100% true because like paint chips came off it. The soccer goals, which were 20 yards from the stands my grandfather was sitting in, were struck by lightning. And it was one of those like scatter situations where everyone on the field immediately was like, run, and just took off. Grab whatever ball you got. Everybody inside the high school. Coaches are running, everybody. And I immediately looked to my grandfather and I'm like, well, I just watched my grandfather get struck by lightning. Like, he's donezo. So I start running towards him, and as old men are wont to do, not the quickest mover. So it probably was like 3 seconds, but it felt like 2 minutes. He just didn't move. I was like, yep, shocked. There it is. Then he just stood up and walked away. And, similar to Adam, right, as you just heard in that rejoin, I don't know if it's good luck or bad luck that you get almost struck by lightning like 20 yards away. But I do know that if it was his time at that point in time, it would have been an easy readjustment by the lightning to get that set of bleachers that he was sitting in. Just a quick story spurred by a little rejoin here on the Adam Gold Show. That's what Adam does, right? He gets you talking. With that being said, let's jump into one-timers. Graham, take it away.
Yes, just because Victoria is out does not mean we are going to change things up. We still have some one-timers, and with Tim Donnelly sitting in, kind of like real bold predictions or
similar, yeah,
similar to this. I'm going to ask Tim Donnelly some questions and get his thoughts on what it is that I'm presenting to him. So the ACC has 4 football teams in the top 22 of the initial USA Today coaches poll, which was released yesterday. NC State entering this season with high expectations, of course, ranked number 22. ACC champion Florida State is number 10, with Clemson at number 14 and Miami at number 19. Tim, do you feel these teams' rankings are highly rated, rightly rated, or overrated in the initial coaches poll?
I think the only nitpick I have, I think they're fairly right? And we might talk about this a little later on. I think it's important to emphasize preseason rankings are rankings for now. You look at a team like NC State, they play number 14 and number 15 in the poll in the first month of the season. So 4 weeks into the season, State will either be much higher up on that list because they, say, beat Tennessee and Clemson, or much lower on that list if they lose to one or both, particularly if the loss isn't close, maybe even unranked. So I look at it and I say, that's fair, right? I don't have a problem with State being 22nd. I don't have a problem with Clemson being up there. They get some respect based on their recruiting pedigree. I don't have a problem with Florida State being top 10 based on where they were last year, undefeated. Norvell has something cooking there. The only thing I have that I don't like Miami above State. I think the Miami hype is getting a little carried away. If you flip them, you put State at 19, Miami at 22, I might go chef's kiss. No notes. But I think if you're just talking about the ACC over underrated, I think if you flip those two, that's the proper way to do it.
I agree with you on the Miami thing. I feel like, look, you got to use the term bulletin board material very wisely with head coach Dave Doran. But that's all you need right there going to the season. I mean, really the preseason rankings for NC State still finishing underneath Florida State, SMU. I'm trying to remember the order of that. I can't think of it off the top of my head. But I just feel like when it comes to Miami, like that's the U, right? I mean, what has Mario Cristobal done in his 2 previous seasons to prove to you that Miami should be ranked that high? Well,
it's all a talent thing. Cam Ward is the preseason player of the year in the ACC, not Carolina Hurricanes Cam Ward, Miami Hurricanes Cam Ward, their quarterback. Xavier Restrepo is an all ACC wide receiver pick. It's a talent thing. I just look at it and I go, as somebody that votes for the preseason All-ACC, and I vote for the preseason rankings in the ACC, I know how tempting it is if there's two teams you aren't 100% sure of. Like, I don't watch much Pitt or now Cal or SMU. And if it comes down to SMU and Miami, you just go, it's got to be Miami, right? It's Miami. And if everybody is doing that, if everybody is going, all right, this tie goes to Miami because they're a bigger name, it's going to be a bigger name that always ends up a little overranked. So that's what I think happened here.
Let's stay with the theme of college football for just a second. With the college football players moving to a 12-team format this season, Tim, how many teams from the ACC do you think will represent in that 12-team format?
Heart or brain here?
Whichever one.
Brain says 2. Brain says 2.
Would the 2 be in?
I mean, the smart money, like the public money, would be on Clemson and Florida State. I've talked a lot of NC State today, so everybody.
Clemson was the other team that finished or was voted ahead of NC State in the preseason poll. That's what it was.
Clemson second, 55 first place votes in that All-ACC preseason poll. Florida State first with 81. That's going to be the most common answer. I would not be surprised if it's Florida State and NC State, if 2 go. If 3 go, I like those 3. Don't forget about Virginia Tech. They're returning a ton of starters. I like what Brent Pry is building there. Could there be something crazy from somebody like Miami, Louisville? Could there be those others? Absolutely. I just tend to believe 2 of the 3 of Clemson, Florida State, and NC State.
Let's move back to the Carolina Panthers for just a second. I want to get your thoughts on this. By the way, if you missed it, breaking news to begin the show. Tim only got 2 minutes into the program before I got into his ear. Bryce Young not playing in the preseason opener. So, Tim, my question for you is this. Outside the preseason opener, does Bryce Young play at all this preseason?
Yes. Gosh, yes. He better. He has to. He better. This is like heart versus brain. This is both my brain and my heart uniting and saying, Bryce Young, if you're not going to play him in the first preseason game, make that second game like 3 quarters, right? Get him a lot of attempts. Let him run different situations. Let him run no huddle. Get it all out there. And then the third preseason game is really a coaching philosophy. I have no problem if you didn't play in the third preseason game. Some coaches just believe that's a spot to kind of check out and really, iron out the end of your roster. But gosh, he better play. He better play in that second game. And without playing in the first game, I think he better play in the third. My druthers would have been you play him in the first, you play him more in the second, third you decide on based on how those first 2 games went. Instead, you're not playing him in the first. You better play him in the second. And I think you have to get him some kind of action in that third preseason game.
They're going backwards of what you wanted to see, really, pretty much.
The good news for us in North Carolina is there's still a ton of reasons to watch that first preseason game on Thursday for the Panthers, not the least of which being Drake May will likely make his debut for the Patriots on the other side. So you can watch the Panthers kind of who they play early, and then once they turn it over to Drake May, that's where we can focus our attention.
Well, one more question for you, since you do bring up Drake May. To stay on the theme of the Carolina Panthers in preseason, when will Drake May be named the outright New England Patriots starting quarterback? Because right now the reports from training camp is that Jacoby Brissett is a clear-cut favorite.
I was just talking with a friend about this. Week 6 or 7, I think Drake May takes over. If you look at the Patriots' schedule, the first month and a half, brutal. So I think they'll have a tough run of it. They'll be out of the running, and they'll turn it over to Drake May by about week 7. This is the Adam Gold Show. I'm Tim Donnelly sitting in for Adam Gold. That voice you heard, that was Graham Hill running one-timers for us. When we come back, further discussions about Bryce Young in the preseason and much, much more. We're in.
Serving it up hot and fresh every day. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
Dak Prescott should be the one voice in that organization. He always says the right thing. He always presents a great front, and he always presents team first, winning, class. He's awesome. He should be the one voice. They will never do it. There shouldn't be the Jerry Jones weekly radio show. There shouldn't be the Jerry Jones press conferences, all the different things he says. But that man, Dak Prescott, should be the one voice in that organization.
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
me feel better. All I wanna know is, can I get up? Juicy double patty, the McNuggets so crisp, and the fries go to yellow, yeah, McDonald's don't miss, yeah. Order app or the drive-thru quick, yeah. $5, that's a deal, yeah. I got McDonald's money.
Homeowners, listen up. Loan Pronto now has mortgage rates that start with a 4. Hey, it's Dennis Cox for Loan Pronto. It's true. Mortgage rates have plummeted to lows we haven't seen in a long time. If your current rate is over 6%, you can dump it and lower your house payment big time. Loan Pronto just locked in a homeowner with a 4.99% APR. Whether you got your loan last week, last month, or last year, it's time to call Loan Pronto. Even if you're in the process with another lender, stop now and call Loan Pronto. Ask about their zero-cost reduction home loan. You can lock in a lower rate with no closing costs in a matter of days with almost no paperwork and usually no appraisal. And if you act now, you can even skip your next 2 house payments. Call now. Loan Pronto can give you a rate quote in minutes with no hard credit pull and no upfront fees like those other guys. Call 919-381-1760 or loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760. Equal housing lender. NMLS 1661781. On approved credit. NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Organize easy. Organize tough. Customize your work truck or van with upfit solutions from Van Products. Steel and aluminum shelving, toolboxes, data files, cabinets, drawers, conduit carriers, ladder racks, everything safe and secure. Everything built as unbreakable as you by Adrian Steel. Backed by the best warranty in the business. 3 years, 36,000 miles. Everything custom installed by Van Products so you know it's done right. From a single work rig to a fleet. Choose custom-installed upfit solutions from Van Products.
It's Window Nation's anniversary sale. Right now, buy 2 windows and get 2 free. Plus, pay nothing for 24 months and get an extra $250 credit. Hurry, sale ends August 31st, so schedule an in-home estimate at 866-90Nation or at windownation.com.
How was everyone's first day at the North Carolina Education Lottery Winners Club?
Oh, me? I set the high score in mini golf.
I tried a new food called wasabi.
Oh, I did absolutely nothing. It was amazing.
There's no wrong way to be a winner. New $50,000 payout and $1 million cash word are here. The Winners Club awaits. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 in 3.54 to 3.58. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm Injury Lawyers.
He scores! What a comeback!
Visit GotBryan.com. That's GotBryan.com.
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Never lie, never cheat, never steal. I was raised with that lesson. I have preached that lesson to the teams that I've coached. If you stumble, you apologize, and you make it right. Today, I do not apologize. I did not participate, was not aware, nor complicit in those said allegations. So for me, it's back to work and attacking with an enthusiasm unknown to mankind.
Big surprise there. Jim Harbaugh not admitting to knowing what's going on with the Michigan sign stealing scandal. There was, gosh, if only we had more time, I might have some words for Jim Harbaugh. But instead, we had some breaking news earlier here on the Adam Gold Show. I'm Tim Donnelly, sitting in for Adam Gold today, subbing in, if you will. Graham Hill producing the show. The breaking news earlier today came right about noon is Bryce Young will not play in Thursday's preseason opener. That's a decision made by Dave Canales. Bryce Young, throughout the last few days, has been very clear that he will trust whatever Coach Canales wants to do as far as whether Bryce plays or not, and he's confident that he can be ready regardless of what happens. It's a good player backing up his coach. If you want the full reaction to the Bryce Young side of this, feel free to check it out on our YouTube page from our home station here, 99.9 The Fan. Go to YouTube, look it up, 99.9 The Fan. You'll get 20 minutes of instant reaction to Bryce Young not playing on Thursday. But there is a element of that decision that we did not touch on, and that is the Dave Canales side of this. Because guess who has never been a head coach?
Dave Canales.
Dave Canales. And guess who's never called an offense for Bryce Young in an NFL game?
Dave Canales.
And guess who needs to get on the same page with everything prior to week one?
Let's see if I go 3 for 3 here. Dave Canales.
No, actually, no, I'm kidding. Yes, of course, Dave Canales. That answer was Andy Dalton. No, Dave Canales. Dave Canales needs to know how Bryce Young communicates during a game. And as much as you can get the refs out at practice, right? You can have refs there. As much as you want to play 11 on 11 and, hey, this one's live, get the clock going, 2-minute drill, minute and 26 seconds, it's 3rd and 5 at your own 40, go. It's not the same as being out there in a real game situation, which a preseason is not the intensity. It's not the level of play. It's not the same players out there, especially if one or both teams are holding out starters. But the mechanisms are the same. The play clock. They don't play with a longer or shorter play clock in the preseason. The TV commercials, right? The sudden change, right? If Bryce Young goes out there and has a drive, successful, unsuccessful, doesn't matter. Comes to the bench. Do you know what every single offensive coach will say the first time they talk to their quarterback after any drive? What are you seeing?
Yep.
Right? You need to make sure that what the coach is seeing, either up in the booth, if it's a play caller up in the booth, an offensive coordinator, or whoever's on the sideline, if they're calling the plays, you have to make sure you're seeing the same thing. Right? Hey, I'm seeing the safeties creep down on 3rd down. Perfect. I'm seeing that too. Next 3rd down, let's take a shot over the top. Right? And those things need to be communicated in shorthand, right? Like safety's down on 3rd down. Well, does that mean they're creeping down and you can beat them deep? Does that mean they're flying down to stop the run? Is it both safeties? Is there a tell based on which personnel is out there? Like there's so many little things that need to be communicated very quickly because guess what? That quarterback on the other side of the field might throw an interception on his first play. Boom, get back out there. Or Bryce Young might have to talk with the coach, then go talk to Deontay Johnson, right? Hey, on 3rd downs, you're supposed to cross in front of the safety, but they're creeping down. Go behind them. We're going to try to take a shot, right? Conversation with Canales, conversation with Deontay Johnson. Now I got to go tell the offensive line, hey, give me everything you got on this play on 3rd down. Like and by the way, I'm making it very, very simple. I'm making it, this is all off the top, right? It could be more complicated. It could be more simple, these conversations. Dave Canales needs to know how everything works with his players, right? Preseason is a good time for that. You know what preseason is a great time for?
Getting reps.
Couple delay game penalties, right? Where the quarterback and the coach aren't quite on the same page. Right? The quarterback's got his hands over the ear holes on his helmet because he's trying to hear on the radio, and the coach is rifling through something, but the quarterback isn't understanding what he's trying to say, and he's looking at him, palms to the sky, going like, what the heck are you saying? And boom, brrr, delay game. It's a great time for that in the preseason. Do you know why? No harm, no foul. Nobody cares about the preseason.
Or the cadence and the time in between the quarterback and the center might be off just a little bit.
Like all of those things are great in the preseason. And that's for Dave Canales too. We will talk till our faces are teal and black, till they're black and blue about all of the growing pains that are expected for young quarterbacks and all of the patience that is expected for young quarterbacks because Bryce Young is still going to make mistakes. And we're going to talk about it. We should talk about it. Adam Gold will talk about it. He'll have guests on to talk about it. But there's also a rookie head coach out there, right? Bryce isn't the only one who is going to not get a true game look by not playing this Thursday in the preseason. Dave Canales is not going to get a true game look, right? Everything we've heard about Bryce Young, from the moment he stepped on campus at Alabama, and if you pay attention to college football recruiting from like his sophomore year of high school out there in California, has been he is prodigious with the playbook. He is a savant with understanding football. He is top-level football IQ. Interviews, great. Crushes it on the whiteboard. All of that. So I would assume he and Dave Canales have pretty graduate-level conversations, right? Have you ever been stuck in that situation where you're talking with two buddies that are like both lawyers or something, or they're both doctors, and they're chopping it up about work, and you recognize like half of the words that they say? They're like, yeah, so the other day I was working on a gargantuanoscopy, and the guy came in and he said, did you use the Cornelius cut? And I'm just like, what the heck does any of that mean? I assume that's what it's like to be around Canales and Bryce, right? These super geniuses. Well, Jack Plummer's been in the NFL for a blink and comes from a college offense where he had a ton of play action pass plays because his running game was great at Louisville. I assume Dave Canales dumbs it down a little bit for Jack Plummer. You don't want Dave Canales getting used to that, and he doesn't. It's an exaggeration, and before everybody gets on me on Twitter, I'm not saying like, oh, if you dumb it down for a rookie, you can't talk to the veteran. I'm just saying they need to be a well-oiled machine from top to bottom by the time that week one hits. Dave Canales and Bryce Young's communication, in-game, at a game, sideline, in the headset, in timeouts, hand signals, body language, perfect. And then it starts there and it tumbles down, meaning Dave Canales has to be able to communicate with Bryce Young fantastically. Bryce Young has to be able to communicate with Deontay Johnson fantastically. Probably already does with Adam Thielen. Has to get Jatavian Sanders, their tight end who's thrust into the starting lineup due to injuries. Has to get him on the same page. Miles Sanders probably all right. Chuba Hubbard probably all right. Jonathan Brooks, have to get him up to the same page. Dave Canales not playing Bryce Young is not just not playing Bryce Young. It's also a brand new head coach, new play caller in town, who only has 1 year of play calling experience, offensive coordinator last year for Tampa, not playing the quarterback that he's going to be playing with during the regular season in the preseason. Opener on Thursday against the Patriots. Dave Canales talked today. If you missed it, we played this earlier. We'll play it for you again. This was Dave Canales explaining the decision to not play Bryce Young on Thursday.
Bryce will not play, okay? And then we'll take that kind of week to week and get a sense for, do we need to get him out there in this system and kind of get a couple of series, and do that. That's something that, I've done in the past. We've done both. So for this game, he will not play.
More audio from Dave Canales on Bryce Young not playing on Thursday.
Not the way Jack's been playing. So that's the cool part, is I'm excited about that. And we brought in Jake Luton as well, a guy that's been around a couple of different teams. I was with him in Seattle for a little bit. So a guy that knows how to play football and function. That's what we really needed to feel good about the evaluation and how important that is, So we brought him in. We're working him into some of the wording. Some of it's the same, a little bit different in some, but we got to make sure our cadence is right so we can just get the play started. And he's really sharp. And so I'm glad he's here, and he's going to give us that ability to evaluate our guys.
We'll see if he gives you the ability to evaluate your guys. We'll see that on Thursday.
Let's see how the chemistry is between him and Deontay Johnson as they're trying to throw a deep ball down the field.
I assume Deontay's not playing. If Bryce isn't playing, I think it's going to be very difficult to get the top-end starters out there.
So does Xavier Legette even play now on
Xavier
Thursday?
Legette's, they already said he's likely not playing because of the foot injury. But I believe Mingo will be out there because he kind of has to be and needs to go continue to impress. Terrace Marshall will be out there. Deontay Johnson, Adam Thielen, Xavier Legette. I'd be surprised if
any of those
Chuba
guys.
Hubbard plays. The interior of the offensive line, I don't know if they play. Taylor Moton shouldn't play. It's going to be the backups. Let's just call it what it is, with a couple starters or a couple of the contributors mixed in. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99. Oh, That's a autopilot right there. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, is the show I host normally every weekday, actually on 99.9 The Fan, in the Triangle comes on right after the Adam Gold Show. Today, I am also sitting in for Adam Gold. That's what you're listening to right now. The Adam Gold Show will continue up next with one of my favorite lists of the entire sports calendar. Who are the biggest college football freak athletes, and how many of them attribute to our listening area. Stick around.
Serving it up hot and fresh every day. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
You heard the perfect scores on air.
Just before the buzzer, that's 5 for 5.
We're bringing those champions to the stage. It's our inaugural Numbers Game Live show, presented by Sharky's Place Sports Bar and Grill. Our invitation-only event brings past players together August 21st at the Hilton Raleigh North Hills. Join us on YouTube as we crown a Numbers Game champ. Special thanks to on-site audio-visual, supplying the sights and sounds of the Numbers Game Live.
Adam Gold here from my man, Coach Pete DeRuta, Capital Financial Advisory Group in Apex. I'm going to make this very simple. We all think about retiring. At some point, even when you have just entered the workforce, you go, how long do I have to do this before I can do whatever it is I want? And maybe you're like in your late 50s, early 60s, and you go, you know what, how much more do I have to do this? Sort of sounds like the same question, doesn't it? Anyway, Coach Pete DeRuta, Capital Financial Advisory Group in Apex. These are the retirement planning experts. They'll get you ready for whatever the next phase is of your life financially. All you have to do is call them, 888-843-0013, or text Adam to 600-700. And if you do that now, we're going to get you a total customized retirement plan for you, designed for your needs, your wants, your desires, for free. It's a $1,000 value. Call 888-843-0013, or text Adam to 600-700 and take advantage of this offer right now with Coach Pete DeRuta. Retire on your terms.
All right, when it comes to getting life insurance for your family, a lot of excuses can get in the way. But ask yourself this: if something were to happen to me, who would pay the mortgage, the kids' education, and the other bills? Then forget the excuses and check out Ethos Life, the online, easy way to get life insurance in 10 minutes. Ethos has rates that you can afford, like a $500,000 policy for a 40-year-old male starting at $1 a day or $30 a month, with a few health questions and no medical exam. Get your free quote right now at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com. Not available in all states. Rates do vary.
You know that feeling? That confident, swaggerific feeling that says, look at me, world, I know stuff. Own that feeling with PlaySmart, a fun new go-to resource from the North Carolina Education Lottery. With PlaySmart, get to know the odds, learn tips, set limits and budgets, and make the most of your play. Awesome feeling, right? Right. Play smart, the way smart players play. Visit ncplaysmart.com. Must be 18 to play. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Paid for by government. Did you hear? A secret hoard of 1904 $20 gold Liberty coins have been found. These gorgeous 1904p gold coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck, and less than 500 of these gold coins are available. Coin experts are calling this secret U.S. gold coin discovery a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and you can own a piece of the hoard. When you call, you are guaranteed a 1904 gold Liberty struck at the iconic Philadelphia Mint. With limited availability, you must call now. These 1904 dated gold coins are still in uncirculated condition with brilliant luster. That is 120 years of history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-895-7664. Call now and you'll receive a free bonus, a $75 value free with every order. Call 1-800-895-7664 now to secure your 1904p $20 gold Liberty coins before they sell out. That's 1-800-895-7664.
Hey, contact lens wearers, are you tired of wasting time and money every day putting contacts in, taking them out, cleaning, ordering new ones, glasses, prescription sunglasses? Dr. Lori Travers and Travers LASIK can change your life. About 5 minutes per eye. You could go back to work the very next day. 2 years, zero interest financing is available, and $1,000 off is available. 919-510-6830. 919-510-6830. Make the call. You can go online, traverslasik.com.
This is Adam Gold.
We had lightning hit a pretty large tree.
Oh, yeah.
About 150 yards from the house. It'll be my sign to go win the lottery. But you know what? I'm sorry, I can't. I have rules. If it's not over $1 billion, I'm not playing.
Yeah, still just millions.
The Adam Gold Show.
The Adam Gold Show here on a Tuesday. I believe Adam will be back tomorrow. I'm getting the thumbs up. So Adam will be back tomorrow. I'm Tim Donnelly, subbing in for Adam today. One of my favorite lists. There's if you pay attention to sports media, if you're on the sports Twitters and the Instagrams and everything else and following the blogs and the podcasts and listening to shows like this one, there are certain lists that come out every year. NFL Top 100 was last week. That's one people look forward to. Obviously, all the polls and rankings, those are ones, the watch lists for awards. The one I look forward to, maybe the most, is the Athletics College Football Freaks list. It is one of my favorite lists every year. And it's not about who is the best football player. It's a college football list, but it is not about who is the best football player. It is about one thing: raw, physical tools. Big, tall, strong, fast, right? If you're going to be 5'10", 175 on this list, you better be ready to run in the Olympic sprinters. If you're going to be 285, you better be jumping and moving weight. It actually feels kind of Olympic. It's kind of appropriate with the Olympics going on, right? Like we don't know whoever wins the decathlete gold. We don't know if they can catch a ball or if they can, run away from somebody when playing tag. But we know they have all the athletic tools, right? They can run, jump, they can sprint, they can vault, they can throw, they can do all that. We just don't know if they're actually sports-wise athletic. That's kind of what this is. For example, the best athlete in college football, biggest athletic freak, according to The Athletic, is Nick Harbor from South Carolina.
Okay.
Have you heard about this guy?
I've not, but I mean, if he's anything like Xavier Legette was last season, it's not very surprising to me.
Dirties Xavier Legette.
South Carolina.
In pure athleticism.
Give South Carolina credit. They do a great job at player development. It's just talent-wise, sometimes they struggle once they actually get out on the field. But, I mean, their weight room and their strength and conditioning program is like one of the best in the country.
This Harbor kid showed up this way. In 20 years of the Athletics Freaks list, he is the first back-to-back number one. And last year, he was the number one going into his freshman year. So now he is the number one going into his sophomore year. This gentleman is 6 feet 5 inches tall, 242 pounds, who just turned 19 and runs a 10-100. He runs a 20.2 200, where he was a freshman All-American on South Carolina's track team.
Yeah, that's just God-given talent and abilities.
And he weighs almost 245 pounds. 6'5", 245. You could be a defensive lineman in the NFL. And he is running 0.3 of a second slower than Noah Lyles in the 100-meter gold medal winning, nipped at the line finalist in the Olympics. Now, I'm actually not going to focus on South Carolina too much, but Harbor is a bananas athlete. I'm going to keep it to North Carolina. I'm going to keep it players that play in North Carolina. There's an NC State defensive end named Davin Vann, who they have as the 6th biggest athletic freak in the entire country, jumping up from where he was last year, number 40 on the list, because 6'2", 276 pounds, he dropped a full 1/10 of a second on his 40-yard dash time, according to The Athletic, to a sub 4.7 40. He benches 440, meaning 440 pounds, did 31 reps at 225, and squatted 580 to go with a 33-inch vertical. Those numbers are bananas. Let's just call it what it bonkers, bonanzas, crazy.
NC State also does a great job with their strength and conditioning program.
State's looking for somebody to be the premier headliner of that defense. Peyton Wilson, who was the National Defensive Player of the Year by most measures last year, is now on the Steelers. They have Aiden White, who's been a very good corner, and they have Davin Van, who appear like, how do you stop that? If you are a offensive tackle, you see like a state champion wrestler, by the way, so you know he's good with his like body posture and leaning and everything. He's one of the best, I think it was shot put in discus in all of high school. How do you stop that? And then, by the way, give him to Tony Gibson, State's defensive coordinator, who's a great defensive coordinator at getting the best out of his players. Big year for Davin Van. Siobhan Revel Jr., East Carolina.
Purple.
Cornerback, the 35th biggest freak athletes in the country. Shout out to ECU. NFL Scouts, the author of the article on The Athletic, wrote that NFL Scouts are saying that they're surprised Revel is still with ECU and that Power 4 conference programs didn't do everything they could to lure him away from ECU.
Team Boneyard down there in Greenville, North Carolina, and hey, hello to everybody that's listening to us on 94.3 The Game in Greenville, one of our network stations. Team Boneyard, give them a lot of credit. They, just like NC State, they've really delved into and really bought into the NIL funding, and they've done a good job of getting guys to stay that have really good talent that could have gone to play at these big like Power 5 schools. ECU's right up there with them, but there's something in the water down there in Greenville.
6'3", 190, runs a 4.4, broad jumps 11. That's 11 feet, that is. That sounds like an NFL corner.
Yeah.
I'm surprised the tampering wasn't so overwhelmingly in his face with millions, or maybe not millions, but at least we're talking high six figures to head to one of these powerhouse programs and slot in as a starting corner. You know who else is on the list? App State is on the list. Shout out to App State. Santana Hopper, defensive lineman, last year freshman All-American. Do you know what's a pretty bold thing to brag about?
What's that?
You know how in-game they have all these GPS? It used to be you just say, like, oh, he's fast, here's his 40 time. Now it's, well, he's fast, here's his in-game top speed, right? He ran 21.2 miles per hour on this long touchdown run, and they show it on the replay. Santana Hopper, App State defensive lineman, as a freshman in 2023, clocked the fastest in-game time of any defensive tackle in the entire country, going 20 miles an hour. The next fastest by any defensive tackle in the entire country, 18.7 miles per hour.
I wonder what the reason is for him staying at App State, outside of just Boone being a great city and a great culture for football, because they really live and die by App State football up there. But
maybe it's the development. He's 6'2", 265, so he's small for a defensive lineman, but he's strong. Bench presses 385, squat 655. Clocked a 4.7 in the 40. Coaches say he's still growing and his body is still developing. So he's that freaky as an athlete, and they're still like, yeah, he might grow a couple inches.
Yeah.
And he's still got weight to put on. So maybe he just trusts App State to develop him based on what they did last year. Duke has a linebacker on here. 65th best freaky athlete in the country. Nick Morris Jr. started just 5 games last year, but topped out at 21.73 miles per hour at 6'3", 237. Vertical jump, 38 inches. These are numbers that I don't get jealous, but I do look at other people and go, sure must be nice, right? Work as hard as you possibly can to get your 40 time within half a second of some of these guys. Nick Morris, linebacker, pair him with Trey Freeman at Duke. Trey Freeman, a guy that's already put up a bunch of stats, 100 tackles season last year. In Manny Diaz, their new head coach's system. Nick Morris might be one of those guys that breaks out. You know who else has a player on this list?
Who's that?
Elon. You want to talk about the entire state of North Carolina being repped with just bananas athletes. Chandler Brayboy, an Elon wide receiver, 6'1", 200 pounds, 44-inch vert. It's been clocked over 22 miles per hour in-game. Had 105 receiving yards against Wake last year, 75-yard catch and run against Vanderbilt earlier in his career. I get wanting to be loyal. I kind of understand staying at ECU or App, like we've talked about.
Yeah, Power 5 programs.
If I'm in the FCS and I'm 6'1", 200 pounds with a 44-inch vert and I'm clocking 22 miles
I'm trying to go to App State or ECU.
I'm calling Power 5 conferences.
Or State, Carolina, Duke.
Those measurables don't grow on trees. Wake Forest had the 85th best player, Wake Forest defensive tackle, Kevin Pointer, 6'1", 282, benches 495, squats 745, and cleaned over 340 pounds. Then lastly, I have to throw in this just because it exists. Speaking of FCS, I played at the University of Delaware. Marcus Yarns, running back, 88th best athlete in the country, 22.9 miles per hour.
We unfortunately do not have a graphic for the Delaware
That's
Blue
all right.
Hens.
That's all right. Just put me on the screen. Blue Hens, right here. That's what we got. By the way, you can follow us live stream on YouTube. Just search 99.9 The Fan, The Adam Gold Show, any of that, and it'll pop up. We live stream there as well if you want to put a face to the voice. This is The Adam Gold Show. I'm Tim Donnelly sitting in for Adam Gold, and that was maybe my favorite article of the year. I understand some of you are probably bogged down by all those numbers. Oh, they run what? They bench press what? Oh, goodness. That was...
He went where?
Yeah, who was... It's so much fun to just look at what... And this is what the Olympics is about, right? It's so much fun to just look at what the human body is capable of. And then you add on the fact that these guys are trying to play football and they're between the ages of 19 and 23, 24 years old. It's absurd. It's absurd. And so many of them here in North Carolina as well. Adam Gold Show, let's talk Olympics. Let's get a little update. First of all, again, it's the Adam Gold Show. I'm sitting in for Adam Gold, but I feel like I do have to make sure that I keep you updated on a few of the things that Adam would want you to be updated on. The United States women's national soccer team is playing at this moment.
That's right.
They are in the 72nd minute, so in the second half, tied against Germany 0-0 in the semifinal. You win this, you go to the gold medal match.
Well, there goes one of my place my bets I was going to do because I forgot they were going to be playing.
You got to pay attention to Olympic start time.
During the time this show was on air. Well,
what was the bet going to be?
I was just getting ready to say, can you tell me if, let me find it right here, if Sophie Smith, if she scored a goal?
It's 0-0, so not yet, but there's still time on the clock.
Okay, well, can I do an early place your bet?
Sure. Sophie Smith to score a goal?
Anytime goal scorer.
You probably get much better odds now if you can live bet it than you would at the beginning of the game with only like 20 minutes left.
Well, the last time they played Germany on July 28th in that 4-1 victory, that was kind of the breakout game, not just for Sophie Smith, but this young generational roster of the U.S. women's national team.
Shot on goal by Germany.
I saw that goal right there. I saw that shot.
Stopped by the United States goaltender. So they're playing as we speak. This is actually a perfect example. The Olympics are born. They are made. They are perfect for showing you simultaneously. It's similar to the NCAA tournament in this way.
Okay.
The thrill of victory and the agony of defeat, like 10 feet apart.
Yeah.
Right? It's the more unbelievable the win, the more unbelievable the heartbreak is for somebody else right nearby, right? For somebody else put in that very same situation. And that's what's going to happen here, right? Obviously, USA. Like we're rooting.
Sophie Smith.
Obviously, we're rooting for USA. But semifinal, we're talking you win, you get a medal. You win, you get a chance at the gold. They're tied with 15 minutes left in regulation, 0-0. Somebody is going to have a story to write home about. The United States in their last game, I believe, was against Japan. Overtime, a story to write home about. The other is going to be absolutely crushed and feel like they were right there with their fingertips on it. How many times has that happened in the grandest scale this Olympics? Noah Lyles winning the 100-meter dash.
Yep. Fastest man in the world.
That finish, the photo finish where even the announcer thought someone else won, but it was 0.005 of a second Noah Lyles won the 100-meter dash. Sure, it's brutal for the guy that finished, the Jamaican that finished in second.
Especially since he thought that he had originally won it, or initially won it.
I'm not focused on him. I'm focused on the guy that finished in fourth. Go look at that final picture of the 100-meter dash. Noah Lyles wins. The guy that finishes in fourth, his head is even with like the back of Noah Lyles' shoulder. That's the difference between gold medal, Fastest man in the world. One of the cooler things you could possibly brag about. International fame, and not even on the podium. The shot putter. Did you see the United States shot putters?
I didn't see this.
We got a little bit of a dynasty going. There's the guy Hauser that has won the last 3 shot put golds. Then there's, I believe his name is Kovacs, and I'm doing this off memory, so if I'm mispronouncing a little bit, I apologize.
Doing better than me.
Who I believe has gone back to back to back silvers. But here's the thing: this year, he had one throw that wasn't great, and all faults. Right, stepping over, falling, like whatever. Not in it's a fault. Didn't count. Right, like a no score. You get 6 throws. He had one score that wasn't very far, and 4 faults going into his last throw. And guess what he did? Absolutely crushed it. Threw it far enough to win silver medal by a good amount in shot put. And he was jacked. You watch it, screaming. What no one talks about is the fellow American who was sitting in bronze for like a half hour, who had somebody on the final throw after 4 faults take his spot on the podium. So it's great, right? Thrill of victory. Another American. Silver medal. Awesome. That guy in bronze was sitting in bronze for like a half hour before being knocked out. Thrill of victory. Agony of defeat. Maybe the worst of the bunch. Jordan Childs won bronze on floor exercise. Do you see this controversy?
Mm-hmm.
Jordan Childs had to appeal. And I don't know how this works. I don't know enough about gymnastics. I am very much a once every 4 years big gymnastics fan, which I think a lot of us are. So the scoring was done. Every competitor had gone on floor exercise, done their flips, landed, stuck it, didn't, stepped out of bounds. They did the whole thing, right? Jordan Childs was in 4th. So Anna Barbosu of Romania is sitting in bronze. Everybody's done competing. Scores have been issued. She starts to celebrate. She gets the Romanian flag, throws it over her shoulders, getting ready to go run around and take in those cheers when the Americans, the United States gymnastics team, appeals the scoring of Jordan Childs, and they decide to add a 1/10 of a point, which is enough to knock Anna Barbosu off the podium and Jordan Childs up to bronze. She had already started celebrating.
Oh, no.
By the way, awesome for Jordan Childs, right? She's a legend. She's been around Team USA gymnastics for a long time. That's a cool way for her to end her gymnastics at the Olympics and everything. It was really exciting for her. Brutal for the Romanian gymnast. So I do feel like we've gotten a lot of that this Olympics. A lot of like, gosh, that's awesome, but that is equally as brutal.
I feel like that all got started, or this feeling that or the examples you're bringing up, that all got started with France, the home country, their gymnastics team being knocked out, like or not even qualifying out of the first round, I believe.
Yeah, luckily they had Leon Marchand, the unbelievable swimmer, to raise everybody's France hopes.
Morale. Yeah.
4 golds. Golf was another one. We should do this. This will be the last one just because it's the Adam Gold Show and we should hit golf.
We're obligated to talk about golf and soccer.
Scotty Scheffler wins gold with an unbelievable closing stretch. I believe he was down 6 strokes on the back 9 on Sunday and just closed with a vengeance and wins gold. And everybody saw it. He got choked up, right? He was emotional after. It's gone viral. He was mumbling the words to the national anthem, right? Scotty's just building fans every day. Tommy Fleetwood finished in 2nd, always a bridesmaid. That guy has never won a major. That guy has never won a PGA Tour event. At different times, he's been a top 10 golfer in the world. He finishes in 2nd. That's brutal. John Rahm had a 4-stroke lead and collapsed. John Rahm joined LIV. Doesn't appear like he appreciates that decision of his very much. So when he gets the opportunity to play in these events with other golfers, he hasn't been able to shake just injuries and sketchy play, and it looked like he was going to walk away with a gold medal for Spain. Collapse.
Everybody towards the end of that tournament, or that course just kind of paved the way for Scotty Scheffler just to take advantage.
There were 3 that were making an unbelievable run. Hideki, who finished in bronze. Fleetwood played very well, who finished in silver. And then Scheffler. And then other than that, there's a lot of carnage, right? Rory plunk in the water. John Rahm collapsed. There was a lot of that. Xander Schauffele didn't play great down the stretch. So some agony of defeat across the Olympics.
That course also did not help by any means.
The course? I mean, it didn't hurt Scheffler. Didn't hurt Hideki, who had seemingly birdie putts all the way down the stretch. Sometimes I like, and again, now I need Adam Gold here so I can golf nerd out with him. We can talk about like the best courses rewarding good shots and punishing bad shots. That's how it's supposed to be. You don't want it where everybody's shooting the same scores. You want it where, the better you're playing, the greater your distance is between you and the rest of the field. And it was obvious that down the stretch there, Scotty Scheffler was playing the best golf possible. With that being said, we're going to break a little early because I want to make sure we have time for our bets coming up. We have not only the 7th inning, which Graham will help us lead, but also we're going to play some bets coming up next, all part of the Adam Gold Show. Do not go anywhere.
Raleigh to Boone, Charlotte to Chapel Hill. Your Carolina is covered. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Adam Gold here for my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, and they are the best place to bet the games this summer because right now, new customers can get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Then you can bet on all your favorite international teams in all your favorite sports, from basketball to badminton and soccer to swimming. FanDuel has it all. Don't miss your chance to score $150 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. Just visit FanDuel.com/AGS to sign up and start betting the games today. Make every moment more with FanDuel. 21 or over and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
The North Carolina News Network and the North Carolina Healthcare Association invite you to listen to our latest podcast. Hospitals play a key role in emergency readiness alongside first responders who protect us from any scenario. During this month's conversation on the state of healthcare, we take an in-depth look at the role that First Health Moore Regional Hospital played at the U.S. Open in Pinehurst. We'll talk with Moore Regional President Jonathan Davis, who says,
we start our day with an 8:30 safety huddle. We call it looking back, looking forward in our day, so to kind of highlight and bring forward any concerns or organizational issues, community issues that may occur.
We also speak with Dr. Catherine Newell with First Health EMS. She reiterates,
we spent about a year beforehand meeting with federal, state, and local representatives to ensure a thorough preparation for the event.
You can listen to our latest conversation wherever you listen to your favorite podcast or by visiting nchealthcare.org.
From the mountains to the coast, there is tremendous pride in North Carolina agriculture. NC Forever Farms is a program recognizing family farms that are protecting precious working lands vital to the future of agriculture. Through permanent agricultural conservation easements, these NC Forever Farms will always be protected from development. Learn more about preserving family farms through the Farmland Preservation Division of the North Carolina Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services by visiting ncadfp.org.
Healthcare.gov is here for you when life happens. If you lost your health coverage because of turning 26, going off Medicaid, leaving your job, or moving, you could be eligible to enroll in new coverage now. And if you need to update your coverage because of marriage or having a baby, you could also be eligible. But don't wait. There's a limited time to enroll. Check your eligibility at healthcare.gov today. Life happens. Get covered. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Are you struggling with your Medicare drug costs? The NC Department of Insurance SHIP program may be able to help. The Extra Help and Medicare Savings programs are available for those who qualify, but you have to apply. Contact SHIP today to see if you qualify. Visit ncshiip.com or call toll-free at 855-408-1212. SHIP provides free, unbiased help in all 100 counties.
Project supported by grants from the Administration for Community Living.
Contents do not necessarily represent official views of, nor an endorsement by ACL, HHS, or the U.S. government.
NC Medicaid is for people just like me.
Adults who don't have children.
People who serve.
People who do the heavy lifting.
Child care teachers. Full healthcare coverage at low or no cost.
Doctor's visits, emergency rooms, and prescriptions.
So if you applied before and didn't get it, apply again.
NC Medicaid covers more people than ever before.
NC Medicaid is for more people. See if you qualify at medicaid.nc.gov.
This is Adam Gold.
While I'm watching Colombia, Uruguay, not only the end of that match, but the fight in the stands after it.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Heard it got spicy.
That was the most excited fans we have seen in 5 years at Bank of America Stadium. Man, look at all the happy people at Bank of America.
Just took the other kind of football.
Yeah, there you go. More of that.
The Adam Gold Show.
The Adam Gold Show on a Tuesday. Tim Donnelly here, subbing in for Adam Gold. Did I see that correctly? I was trying to catch up on the United States women's national soccer team.
What's that?
Against Germany in the semifinal, 86th minute. I think Germany may have found the back of the net, but it got called back for offsides.
Well, as long as that's the case and Sophia Smith, anytime goal scorer is still in play,
Yeah,
I'll take it.
Still in play. Just a couple minutes left before they go to extra time. 0-0 USA, Germany. Women's soccer in the Olympics. This is a semifinal. Obviously, that means the winner goes to the gold medal match. Seventh inning stretch here. Seventh inning. What are we looking at, Graham?
To the ball. I've always felt like I should just break out my best, like, Harry Carey impression doing singing "Take
Can
Me
you
Out to
do
the
a
Ball
Harry
Game."
Carey impression?
Let me work on that and get back to you.
Tim, what are you doing here, Graham?
Tim's starting to discover the more we work together, doing impressions is kind of my forte. But first things first, yes, Teddy Wick, that's watching on our YouTube live stream, you can get a shout out. Thank you for tuning in every day and being a proud supporter
Beautiful.
of the Adam Gold Show, of The Drive with Tim Donnelly. For not listening to Next Up every morning from 9 to 10 with myself and Paul Lyhander, we need you there, Teddy.
I like that. Get all the promotion in.
Halftime entertainment. That's the second time I've done this. Seventh inning stretch, excuse me. Tim, I feel like you'd find this interesting just because before you came here, you've worked in a lot of different radio markets and not just sports radio. I know you've kind of dabbled in other stuff.
Yep, a little bit.
You'll appreciate this. A sports reporter's witty Hurricanes new coverage earns kudos. David Scheel, I believe, is the sports reporter / anchor for Tampa's WTSP. Went way beyond his job description on Sunday when the station assigned him to cover Hurricane Debbie as it bore down the Florida coast. By the way, thinking of all of our Wilmington listeners on our network station down there as they prepare for Hurricane Debbie this weekend. But Scheel, who likely knows more about the Miami Hurricanes than actual hurricanes, answered the call. That left him standing on the waterfront in Gulfport, a St. Petersburg area community, as the storm made landfall. She'll recap reports of local flooding, boarded up businesses, and storm damage. Then he turned the scene behind him where several people, for whatever reason, were tempting fate by playing in the water. He turned that into a little bit of play-by-play coverage by saying, "That young man just fell. Don't do that," She'll said. He also mentioned, "I know WWE wrestler Batista walked miles through a pit of danger. You are not Batista," She'll said, referencing lyrics from wrestling legend Batista's walkout song, "I Walk Alone." Have you ever been asked to do any storm coverage in your radio career?
Well, first of all, I will say it always makes me flabbergasted when the reporters are out there saying, like, everybody go home, evacuate, and there's like a surfer or something in the background.
Somebody
and it's just like, buddy, it's not a smart idea. Respect the weather. I've very early in my career, I was in a small town in Nebraska, and I was in charge of some of the breaking weather news. I always felt ridiculous because I would get a report, like a alarm, right? Straight from the weather, whatever alert system we had, that would go to my phone. And that meant I had to drive into the office, to the station, go live and tell people not to drive.
Yeah.
I was always like, wait a second here. Hold on. And I didn't have like the world's best four-wheel drive car or anything. I wasn't rolling out there in a dune buggy. I was like, all right, yeah. It would be like, snow on the ground or a tornado touchdown somewhere, and I would have to get in the car, drive to the office, turn on the microphone, and say, the weather report, whatever, doesn't want you to drive, and I'm going like, I just did. So it always felt kind of backwards. But that's my story of covering the weather.
Anyone who's ever been a part of a hurricane knows what I'm getting ready to say. When there's the one person, when you have the radio with batteries and you have it right up to your ear and you're waiting for and especially these people in Wilmington that are listening to us know exactly what I'm talking about because it's very popular, or not popular, but you hear it a lot down towards the coast. The one person that calls into the radio station that drives around looking for the first gas station that has like a bag of ice.
Yep.
That will call in and say like, hey, the Kangaroo on Market Street right across the street from UNCW has ice. And then everybody just starts to, go get their bag of ice.
Gone by the time anybody can get there.
That'd be something I'd like to do, honestly.
I've got family in over in the Wrightsville area. I have family down in Florida. So certain people are just good at battening down the hatches. They understand what to do, and they know how to stay safe. So that's number one there. Everybody stay safe.
Yeah, they're holding down the fort until Jim Cantor rolls into town, and then you start questioning a little bit of should we evacuate or not.
My brother and my sister-in-law live in Florida, and I want to say when my nephew was like 3, they dressed him up as Jim Cantori for
That's
Halloween.
Awesome.
He was out there with his little windbreaker and a microphone and spraying water and stuff. It was pretty funny. Anything else for 7th inning before we get to place your bets?
Yes, I just have one more.
All right.
You know the artist Pitbull, correct?
I do.
Just this morning, Pete Thamel, college football senior writer for ESPN, tweeted, international recording artist Pitbull is purchasing the naming rights to FIU's football stadium. He is expected to pay the school $1.2 million per year for the next 5 years to change the name of FIU Stadium to Pitbull Stadium per FIU board documents.
I love the agreement. The full agreement was leaked. He's got to perform at halftime and stuff. The Pitbull supported artists
he
have the
does.
opportunity to perform. He has to make an anthem for the team to play during the stadium and everything. Like it's a whole deal. I don't know how much he's paying, but I respect the creativity of it. Everybody can go get like a local bank to sponsor their stadium. Not everybody can go get Pitbull.
Yeah, see, my girlfriend is a huge Pitbull fan. She was asking, are we going to have the
Mr. 305?
She was asking, are they going to have the Pitbull kiss cam? Do they play Fireball every time they score a touchdown?
Yeah, I think he's got to write a new song.
Is the third down song to get the defense amped up a Pitbull song? Like, is it all just Is it all Pitbull?
It has to be.
Thing?
You got to lean into it.
Do you even change the name of FIU from the Panthers or? Is it FIU? FIU from the Panthers to the Pitbulls.
Or how about this? If you're another very famous Miami artist, if you're like Rick Ross or Gloria Estefan, do you go like get something with the Miami Hurricanes? You can't be one-upped by Pitbull, right?
Yeah.
Even though he's Mr. 305.
He's a Miami native. I'm surprised he's not doing anything with the Canes.
Probably cost too much. Got to start. So it's like a starter home. You got to start with your starter stadium.
But it's the U, Tim.
And then go ahead and move on up.
It's the U.
I was also thinking like schools in the state of Carolina would UNC could it be Eric Church Stadium?
Yeah. Luke Combs with App State.
at App. Jake Owen, I think, is an NC State guy.
I don't know about
Scotty McCreery.
Scotty McCreery definitely.
Stadium. Can you imagine that Scotty McCreery tune getting everybody pumped up on third down?
Clay Aiken Finley Stadium.
There you go.
I'm kidding.
Mike Posner went to Duke.
Yep.
Cooler than me. You think you're cool? Never mind. Let's go and jump into place your bets.
Place your bets. Here we are. I bet you slice into the woods $100.
Gambling is illegal at Bushwood, sir, and I never slide.
Okay, you can owe me. I owe you nothing.
We know one of yours, Sophia Smith, anytime goal scorer.
Not looking too good.
They are in extra time, still tied 0-0.
Well, no, yeah, it's still on the table.
Yeah, like if it did the Olympics eventually go to shootout? Would a shootout count?
That's a good question.
I don't know.
I don't know why for a second I almost thought that once the allotted time ran out, that was it. But I forgot there's extra
overtime.
time.
They need a winner because the winner of this one between the United States and Germany in the semifinals goes to the gold medal match. So you need a winner.
I need that to hit just because I went 1 for 2 yesterday with my bets. So I need some of these future ones I'm getting ready to make.
See, this is the part I like about this.
For me.
I don't host the show too often, so I can go with like futures and stuff because I don't need to come up with new ones tomorrow. My first bet is actually not a future. This was available on DraftKings Sportsbook. LeBron James will have more points than Bruno Caboclo in USA versus Brazil. Minus 120.
Say that one more time in like your
Bruno
best
Caboclo.
Brazilian accent.
I can't do that. I don't even know whatever Giselle would say, right? She's Brazilian. Bruno is kind of an NBA Yeti, meaning he was a mystery man drafted in the first round by the Raptors like 10 years ago and flamed out fairly quickly. So he has some demons in the NBA. I think those demons are going to pop into his brain a little bit here. And also LeBron in elimination games, strong history.
Yep. Game 7 LeBron.
This is the knockout, right? So if you lose, you go home. I like LeBron to score more points than Caboclo.
I'm going to go to MLB for any Chicago White Sox fans that are listening to any of our networks across this great state. You're either going to hate me or love me because I'm going to jinx this right here. Chicago White Sox versus Oakland A's. Of course, the A's won 5-1 last night. So let me take Oakland A's minus 1.5 at plus 108. The White Sox, 21-game losing streak. 3 losses away from
longest ever, right?
Ties the longest ever, and they're 3 games away. I believe they're 3 games away from setting the new record in MLB for consecutive losses. What else is there to say? And then it's going to be so funny when I come in here tomorrow and have to
You're the
hold
one
myself
that broke
accountable.
The streak. Yeah. My next bet is you'll enjoy this, Carolina Panthers fans. Chuba Hubbard to lead the league in rushing touchdowns.
Okay.
Plus 15,000, right? So it's a long shot. But guess who are the last 2 years, guess who led the league in touchdowns?
Oh, yeah, who are the other options?
All of them. I mean, Christian McCaffrey. I mean, name your Derrick Henry, the Jonathan Taylors, the Bijan Robinsons. Those are all where all the main money's going. The last 2 years, though, guess who led the league in touchdowns? Last year it was Raheem Mostert. The year before that it was Jamal Williams.
Okay.
Those are not the best backs in the league. Those are guys that were put into a situation where they were given a lot of opportunities to score short yardage touchdowns.
They kind of had to carry the load of the team a little bit.
Hubbard, again, it's a long shot. It's not like this is likely to happen, but I just like the odds at plus 15,000. Hubbard could be in a situation where the entire goal line offense for a team that loves to run the ball is him. So it's a long shot, but it might be worth it. What do you got?
I'm still in this one from Paul Ihander, who you heard yesterday on the Adam Gold Show and who I produce for on Next Up every morning right here from 9 to 10. Philadelphia Phillies versus his LA Dollars. Shohei Ohtani to record a stolen base plus 440. This bet has hit 3 of his last 4 games against the Phillies, including last night. So,
Swiper Shohei.
Paul, thank you for giving me that bet yesterday.
My next one, I'm calling it the American Track and Field Stars Parlay.
All right.
Grant Holloway in the 110-meter hurdles. Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone in the 400-meter hurdles, women's. Grant Holloway, obviously, men's. And Noah Lyles in the 200-meter dash. These are overwhelming favorites. I believe they are as close to a sure thing as you can get. Obviously, no such thing as a sure thing. But Grant Holloway's hunting for a world record. Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone is my favorite Olympian to watch this year in the 400-meter hurdles. She could basically compete in the 400 open with hurdles out there. And then Noah Lyles in the 200-meter dash, he's better at the 200 than he is at the 100, and he won the 100. So give me the 200, and if you parlay them all together, I will refresh it right now to make sure it has not changed. If you parlay all of them together, minus 204. So you're not retiring your parents off of winning this bet, but there's a little bit of money to be made if they all come true, which I believe they will, because they're all studs. Grant Holloway in the semifinal looked like he was hunting for a statement to everybody else. Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone, like I said, her time with hurdles would qualify her to run the 400 at the Olympics without hurdles. That's absurd. And then Noah Lyles, I already explained. Put those 3 together, make it a parlay, call it Place Your Bets here on the Adam Gold Show. You'll have to track and let everybody know how it goes.
Okay.
Because I won't be back on the show. Adam Gold's back tomorrow. Adam Gold Show. Coming up next, we're going to hit the wall of sound. And it is a very Panthers-flavored wall of sound, including how do you think your 4th-round pick sounds as a recording artist, a singer? Well, we'll play that audio for you coming up next. Don't go anywhere.
Raleigh to Boone, Charlotte to Chapel Hill. Your Carolina is covered. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
The world's best athletes are in Paris going for the gold, and 99.9 The Fan will help you follow them for all 16 days of the Summer Games through August 11th. Listen for all the action from across the Atlantic. Check in often for event reports from Paris and the updated medal count as Team USA takes on the world. Updates from the Summer Games on 99.9 The Fan are presented by North Carolina FC. Get your tickets today at northcarolinafc.com.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu.
Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
It's bow time.
A leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $5.99?
Leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $5.99?
So crispy.
So crispy.
And juicy.
And juicy.
So much flavor.
So much.
Stop it. What are you doing?
What, you expect me to get this delicious deal and not say anything?
You're unbelievable.
You're unbelievable.
With a boldly seasoned leg and thigh, choice of fixin', a biscuit, and legendary iced tea, it's a deal so good it's worth repeating. So eat and repeat while it lasts. It's bow time.
It's bow time. Dine in, drive through, or tap your favorite delivery app and have Bojangles come to you. Satisfy your craving for flavor right now with Bojangles 2-piece dinner. 2 pieces of Bojangles dark meat chicken, your choice of fixin', a biscuit, and iced tea for just $5.99. That's right, just $5.99 for limited time at participating Bojangles. What are you waiting for? When you're hungry, it's always bow time.
How was everyone's first day at the North Carolina Education Lottery Winners Club?
Oh, me? I set the high score in mini golf.
I tried a new food called wasabi.
Oh, I did absolutely nothing. It was amazing.
There's no wrong way to be a winner. New $50,000 payout and $1 million cash word are here. The Winners Club awaits. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 in 3.54 to 3.58. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
It's Window Nation's anniversary sale. Right now, buy 2 windows and get 2 free. Plus, pay nothing for 24 months and get an extra $250 credit. Hurry, sale ends August 31st, so schedule an in-home estimate at 866-90Nation or at windownation.com.
Nothing makes being outdoors better than having the right gear and the right crew. So here's an idea. Let Mountain Dew supply the gear and you bring the friends. Because when you buy specially marked multi-packs of Mountain Dew, you can collect points and earn epic limited edition outdoor gear. So buy Dew, collect points, get gear, and get outside with Mountain Dew outdoor gear.
Open to legal U.S. residents 18+. Subject to program terms at dewoutdoors.com and 12/31/24. Void or prohibited.
Want a great deal on Mountain Dew? Handy Hugo's offering 2 20-ounce Mountain Dews for just $4. Do the Dew at Handy Hugo's today.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for up to half the cost. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Savings based on cost of Consumer Cellular single line 1, 5, and 10 gig data plans with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plans offered by T-Mobile and Verizon January 2024.
This hour of buzzer-beating, nail-biting, edge-of-your-seat sports action on 99.9 The Fan is powered by
Ritchie Law Firm Injury Lawyers.
Visit GotBryan.com.
That's GotBryan.com.
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports leader.
This is the Adam Gold Show.
To me, it was less related to Gensel. I think even when Gensel left, whether it was at the draft or draft weekend, if there was a player-for-player deal to be done for Natchez, I still think they would have done it. They just really didn't like any of the offers that were out there. Both sides had to go back to the table and say, hey, if this isn't going to happen, how can we make this work? And I think this is a fair deal. It's a reward for what Marty Natchez has done and earned, but it also leaves a lot on the table for the future. And because he'll be going straight into unrestricted free agency, really anything is possible here. And I don't mean that as a bad thing. I mean that as a good thing.
Goal! Who did you say is going to be a goal scorer, Graham?
Sophia Smith.
So it's Smith on the back of her jersey. I'm Tim Donnelly sitting in for Adam Gold on the Adam Gold Show here today. And goodness gracious, how much would Adam Gold enjoy this show right now?
1 for 1 on my bets. Let's go.
Because the United States women's national team in the first overtime against Germany in the semifinals just scored to take a 1-0 lead. Sophia Smith, who, if you were listening to earlier in the show, Graham did make the anytime goal scorer Sophia Smith bet. She just scored to give a 1-0 lead. And now, if it were to end the way it does right now and the way extra time works, they're going to have to play it out. The United States would advance to the gold medal match.
3 goals so far in the Olympics, all coming against Germany. Dare I say Sophie Smith owns Germany.
She's got their number. Gosh, that was fun. It was right before the break came back. Go, do, 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 do. This is the exact opposite. I may have told this story on air before. I'm not sure if I've told it to the Adam Gold Show listeners. During one of the World Cups, I was on air and I had a show. I forget where it was, but it was somewhere else. So I was doing a morning show. And I think this is when I was doing a morning show. And there was a United States women's national soccer game going on. So we simply said, we didn't have the rights to play-by-play or anything, but just like now we have it, we had it up on the studio in the radio room. And we said, listen, we're not going to, if you want to watch every detail, go watch the game. But what we'll do is we'll keep you updated on goals. So we made it a bit that, like a comedy bit, that every time the United States scored a goal, we would just go nuts, right? We'd be talking about the Panthers in this situation, right? Like, all right, Bryce Young this, Bryce Young, goal. Goal! And me, my producer, we had other people running into the room. We would just go bananas. And started off really fun. I believe the score was against Thailand or something. It ended 14-1.
Oh, what?
There were 5 goals by Alex Morgan alone. So that at the beginning we were like, oh yeah, goal. By the end we're like, goal.
It almost happened again because the United States just put together a great attack right off the face-off.
Yeah, there's Trinity Rodman with the shot wide. She likes
going face-off. This is how you know I cover hockey too much.
Likes going to that left foot off the right side. So the United States, as the Olympics keep playing, again, it's extra time. Still have to play it out, but the United States now with a 1-0 goal lead over Germany, women's soccer, and it was pretty darn exciting to see that one and how it went down. Sophia Smith with the goal. Now let's get to the Wall of Sound.
The Wall of Sound is a function of this studio. There's no doubt about it.
I love when guys show their personality. Jatavian Sanders, 4th-round pick of the Carolina Panthers. My favorite pick of the draft for the Panthers. Before the draft, I said on air, in the 4th round, I want them to get Jatavian Sanders. They got him with the first pick of the 4th round. It was fantastic. In talking with the media a couple days ago, he was asked to sing a bit of his rookie training camp song. Now, here's the thing. We've all watched Hard Knocks. We know what the rookie training camp songs are, right? You have to walk up to the front of the room. You have to sing a song. If you put your effort into it, usually the veterans will applaud. They'll laugh. They'll give you credit. If you half-heart it, if you don't go all out, they'll boo you. Sometimes they'll make you do it again. They'll make you feel bad. It's all just a razzing thing for the new guys. You have to do it when the team asks you to do it in team meeting room.
Yeah.
You don't have to do it when the media asks you what song did you sing later on, but Jatavian Sanders is man of the people, so he obliged anyway. Here is Panthers rookie tight end Jatavian Sanders singing a bit of his rookie training camp song.
Beautiful, crazy, she can't help but amaze me. The way that she dances, ain't afraid to take chances, and wears her heart on her sleeve.
Wow.
Yowzers. I love it. I love it. Not everybody has the self-confidence and the, self-esteem to rock that. That was, I'll say, good effort. That's the nicest thing you can say about
exactly.
the singing.
Jatavian Sanders, that was good. Now, Tim, just imagine since it was a Luke Combs song, it's supposed to have a little bit of some twang.
He could have thrown some twang on there.
That Boone, North Carolina. Now I just feel like I'm starting to sound like Mac Brown a little bit. Imagine if Xavier Legette had done that song instead.
Or it would be even more entertaining if Xavier Legette sang something that didn't need twang.
It just came out there when you sang.
Because he's going to have a different take, if you will. That's what they say on American Idol. You made it your own. Xavier Legette would make it his own. Let's get back to the Wall of Sound. Julius Peppers inducted into the Hall of Fame over the weekend. Gave a lovely speech. Thanked coaches, teammates, family members, mentors. But he also thanked David and Nicole Tepper, the owners of the Carolina Panthers currently. This is what he said.
What?
I want to thank Dave and Nicole Tepper for your support and your friendship. You know, nobody has it all figured out from the start. But I believe in you guys, and just know our time is coming. So, in the words of the great Sam Mills, just keep pounding.
Did you catch the slight boo?
Oh, there was definite uneasiness because it's like, well, Peppers, I love you, but oh no, what do I do here? Like it's a oxymoron for Panthers fans. Here's my question. This is the analogy I'm using. Julius Peppers is like a Panthers fan's best friend, right?
Yeah.
So let's say your buddy brings you got a core group of friends, okay? You got like 6, 8, 10 dudes that like bachelor parties, golf trips, fishing trips, like these are your crew. Get together on Sunday to watch a game. This is the crew. One of them, maybe your best friend, the best man in your wedding, brings another friend around, right? And that friend acts a fool. Maybe the way I've been describing it is maybe they throw up in the back of your car.
Oh.
Get a little too drunk, right? Let the couple too many pops, and they do like the ultimate party foul. You're probably writing them off, right? Nope, you've wronged me. You didn't respect me. You're donezo. We're not cool anymore. But your best friend comes to you, makes an appeal. No. Listen, he's cool. That got away from him. He was just figuring it out. He was trying to impress you guys, trying to keep up drinking with Jimmy, and we know nobody can keep up drinking with Jimmy. Like give him another shot. He's my boy. Trust me. I believe in him. Do you give that guy another shot? All right, fine. Invite him to the first March Madness watch party, and let's see if he can do a better job. Can Julius Peppers do that for the Teppers?
Ooh.
He just said he believes in them. Everybody struggles at the beginning. And then he invoked the late, great Sam Mills and said, keep pounding. That's a lot of Panthers sway.
But we're not at the beginning anymore.
Yeah, maybe. Like so what you're saying is that the Teppers have thrown up in your car like 12 times.
Exactly. We're 6 years into turmoil. And another thing, Julius Peppers, all the respect in the world, you know, another thing he messed up bad at thanking Dave and Nicole Tepper, he forgot to thank them for bringing live music to Charlotte.
Forgot the
Julius, what are we
doing?
doing?
Thank you for Beyonce. Thank you for. I mean, I'm asking the question. Julius Peppers has to have about as much like cosign ability as anyone in Panthers history. If he says, like, I believe in you, does anybody go, well, maybe we should give him another chance?
David Tepper is no longer the one friend the friend that threw up that one time in your back seat. He's the friend that now every time he comes around, it's like, who invited David?
He's stolen from
How
him.
does David keep figuring out the hangouts? You know what happened last time? He hit on Jimmy's girlfriend, and no one should ever hit on Jimmy's girlfriend.
Our mythical Jimmy here is quite the party animal.
There's some Jimmy right now that's listening to the car that's like, man.
Oh, that's funny. Just a question I'm asking, just seeing if that plays. If not, that's fine. It's you don't have to give him another chance. Let's hit the wall of sound for one more. Dave Canales yesterday on the injuries suffered by the Panthers. We're talking Andy Dalton. We're talking a herd of tight ends. We're talking some offensive line. All of these injuries, Xavier Legette, and what that might mean for others.
It's kind of like that next man up mentality, and while I would love for them to be out there having those reps, it's so valuable for all the guys to be able to get those reps so we can really gather information. You know, even as we go into these preseason games, I would love for X to be out there at some point just to play NFL football, but we have a good group of receivers that are fighting for these spots on our roster. So I love that room, just getting those opportunities, being able to see different guys rotate in there with the ones and all that. So again, for me, I'm always kind of, the next man up, opportunity type of mentality.
You are going to get whatever mental gymnastics are necessary for Dave Canales to put a positive spin on any and everything.
Next man up even holds true to the starting quarterback, folks, in the first preseason game.
Not because of injury, but by choice, they will not be playing Bryce Young. That was revealed earlier today. Injuries, they're opportunities technically for the next group. You could also just give them opportunities to play without an injury. I don't know. It's just I like watching Dave Canales do those mental contortions to just always be the most positive person in the room. By all accounts, that is his personality and it's genuine, but that doesn't mean sometimes you really got to kind of bend around and twist into a pretzel to find the silver lining. That's the Wall of Sound here on the Adam Gold Show. I'm Tim Donnelly sitting in for Adam Gold. We're going to take a break, but when we come back, we have more from Panthers camp. Stick around.
Serving it up hot and fresh every day. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, Carolina Panthers fans, it's Dennis Cox from 99.9 The Fan. For all the inside information on your team, join me and my co-host, WRAL TV's Chris Lee, for our podcast, Panthers Playbook, presented by Carolina Ford Dealers. In every episode, we'll keep you up to date on your Panthers, and we'll do it with access only we can provide. Locker room insight, exclusive interviews, and in-depth looks at every Panthers game. Follow and subscribe to Panthers Playbook wherever you discover your favorite podcasts or watch on YouTube.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, and you don't get to #1 without this effort. Right now, new customers can get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 wager wins. So just go with hoops because we dominate that, and then you get $150 in bonus bets, and you can bet on all your favorite international teams in all your favorite sports, soccer to sewing. Sewing isn't even a sport. Anyway, basketball to badminton, that works. FanDuel's got it all. Don't miss your chance to score $150 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. FanDuel.com/AdamGold. Start betting the games today. Make every moment more with FanDuel. 21 or over and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
That's a deal, yeah. I got McDonald's money. I got McDonald's money. One meal just to make me feel better. All I wanna know is, can I get her? Juicy double patty, the McNuggets so crisp, and the fries go to yellow. Yeah, McDonald's don't miss. Yeah, order the app or the drive-through quick. Yeah, $5. That's a deal, yeah. I got McDonald's money. I got McDonald's money.
Are you ready to rule the realm? With a new Game of Thrones scratch-off from the North Carolina Education Lottery, you can. This epic game gives you the chance to win up to $200,000 instantly, or a trip to beautiful Napa Valley to play the Seven Kingdoms experience, where you could take home your share of up to $7 million in cash prizes. So treat yourself like royalty. Play the Game of Thrones scratch-off today, and let your reign begin. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds are 1 in 4.31. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Drive into summer with a new Honda. Make an impression with the unmistakable style of the HR-V, or turn heads in the sporty Civic. From Honda, the 2024 Kelley Blue Book's KBB.com Best Value brand. For a limited time, well-qualified buyers can get a 3.9% APR on a 2025 HR-V or at 4.9% APR on a 2025 Civic.
Contact your local Carolina Honda dealer for a great deal today.
See dealer for financing details. Exclude Civic SI and Type R based on 2024 Consumer Choice Awards from Kelley Blue Book. Visit kbb.com for more information.
Wait, she's posting pics with a dude in Mexico. We just broke up. If Heineken Silver was a doom-scrolling ex-boyfriend, it would have all the feels. None of the new boyfriend jealousy.
She looks happy. I'm going to message her. Hey, Stace, loved the super cute post with @RadRyan7. Enjoy Mexico and that ceviche spot from last year. Send pics.
Heineken Silver, world-class light beer. Only 2.9 grams of carbs and 95 calories. All the taste, no bitter endings. Order now at Heineken.com/silver. Must be 21 and older to purchase. Enjoy Heineken responsibly.
At Lowe's, save big every day. Right now, get a free pneumatic nailer when you buy a pallet of Metabo HPT nails. Plus, save an extra 5% every day on eligible purchases when you use your Lowe's business credit card. Because Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows pros. Selection varies by location while supplies last. Discount taken at time of purchase. See sales associate for details. 5% offer subject to credit approval. Exclusions and terms apply. See store at lowes.com/credit for details.
This is Adam Gold.
While I'm watching Colombia-Uruguay, not only the end of that match, but the fight in the stands after it.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Heard it got spicy.
That was the most excited fans we have seen in 5 years at Bank of America Stadium. Man, look at all the happy people at Bank of America.
Just took the other kind of football.
Yeah, there you go. More of that.
The Adam Gold Show.
The Adam Gold Show here on a Tuesday. Tim Donnelly here, subbing in for Adam. He'll be back tomorrow. Graham Hill subbing in for Victoria Vodenecker, producing the show. I believe she will be back tomorrow as well, right? Oh, no, she's actually gone for a while.
Out for the rest of the week.
You're right.
So it'll actually be Adam and Dennis tomorrow.
There you go.
I'm with you tomorrow afternoon.
All right.
And then Adam's back Thursday, but I'm back Thursday along with Friday. So it's that time of the year. Vacations, you know how it goes.
Graham and I are moving as a unit. There's a conversation going up around Panthers training camp that I wanted to throw my 2 cents in. And it's the why aren't the Panthers testing the deep ball more in training camp? Right? It's something that it's like a leaky faucet in that you don't notice it, but then as soon as you do notice it, it's all you can pay attention to.
Yep.
Right? It's does anyone hear that drip?
Just the bloop.
And then once you hear it, you're like, oh no. All right, we got to solve this because until it's fixed, it's all I'm going to be able to watch. So at a certain point early in training camp, who cares, right? Maybe you didn't install the plays. Maybe you're warming up to it, whatever it is. And then you start to notice they're really not testing them deep. I'm not seeing the reports of any deep balls. Hey, did you see any highlights of a deep pass? Is Bryce Young throwing it deep? And then it's suddenly all you can pay attention to. Dave Canales, earlier this week, was asked about what's holding back the deep passes for the offense in camp. This is what he said.
Yeah, I think it's number one, our scheme defensively is fantastic, so it's really hard. This scheme right here really maximizes the disguise. They do so many good things that make it hard for you to kind of know when you're going to be able to get that shot down the field. And so it's just a matter of, for our quarterbacks, especially studying our guys, to say, this is a look when this shot would be good, And I think, generally speaking, as far as training camps go, like our deep ball production kind of increases the further into camp we get. And it really does show up more in games. When you're out here in a practice setting, a lot of the times the defense and secondary play a little bit more conservative. In games, they're more liable to take a shot on a guy or try to cover something where you can set up some of those shots. But and it's definitely something we just have to, bottom line, just improve on and get opportunities on. So I'd love to see more production down the field, yes, but it's been really difficult against our defense right now.
That paints us commentators, us analysts, into a very, very small box. Because if your argument is you're not throwing the deep ball because the defense isn't giving you the looks to throw the deep ball, then I never want Bryce Young to throw a deep ball ever. Right? I actually think that's one of the harder things for a player like Bryce Young to learn in their NFL career is you can't go broke making a profit, right? We've seen this with really every young quarterback. Patrick Mahomes early in his career went through it where teams just start playing 2 safeties really high. 2 shell is what everybody calls it. And right, he had Tyreek Hill, and everybody knew Patrick Mahomes as this 50 touchdown, deep ball gunslinger, and Tyreek Hill all the way down the field. Look at this, look at that. And then the next year, just everybody was like, nope, no deep balls. And it was every young quarterback goes through it. It's the Tootsie Roll lollipop thing. 1, 2, 3, right? You take the check down once, look at me, discipline. Take the check down twice, look at me, discipline. Can't resist it, deep ball, chuck it up there, the safeties are back there. Intercepted, knocked down, off schedule, now you're behind the sticks, whatever it is. I remember Peyton Manning on the Manning cast was saying this about Patrick Mahomes. He was saying, you have to take 2 high safeties off coverage as an insult. You have to take it as an insult because the defense is saying you're not disciplined enough to take 8 consecutive 9-yard completions to go down the field. They're saying you can't control your emotions enough, and you're going to eventually tweak out and throw the deep ball, and we're going to take advantage of it. So when they play off, you have to look at it as like, that coach doesn't think I'm good enough to make the right read over and over and over again. So if the Panthers are playing off, if their safeties are high, if their corners are bailing, if they're playing off, and Bryce Young is simply completing passes underneath, that's what I want Bryce Young to do, right? If he's already that disciplined at whatever he is, 23 years old, I love it.
Take what you can get, right?
But there's going to be a time during the regular season where the opposing team is not that disciplined with staying off. And Bryce Young and this team are going to have to be practiced in taking advantage of that. Because the opposite is true too. If they challenge you, if they press man, if they go 0 safeties or 1 safety and you can move them, like if they bring guys down, you have to beat them over the top. And if Ejiro Evero's, your defensive coordinator's scheme is to keep everything in front, at a certain point you got to call the play where you're a little bit more aggressive and you do come down so Bryce Young knows what that looks like and he can throw it deep. And he obviously knows what it looks like. He's a great quarterback. He was good at Alabama. He went over the top at Alabama a bunch. But he needs to get on the same page with Deontay Johnson or Jonathan Mingo, or if Xavier Leggette's healthy, whoever it is that's going to be that deep threat. You need reps at that too, right? It is a baffling one for me that Dave Canales' offense can't manufacture some deep balls. Mike Evans last year, where Dave Canales was the offensive coordinator in Tampa, he was top 10 in yards per catch, yards per reception, top 10 in the league. A lot of deep balls. Mike Evans is not the fastest guy in the world. Tall, athletic, underrated, Hall of Famer, all of that. But he's not the fastest guy in the world, and they got him deep. Call that play. Go back to your playbook when Russ Wilson in Seattle, when you were on the staff, was throwing all those moon shots, right? When he was throwing them a million miles in the air, and it was DK Metcalf or Tyler Lockett or Doug Baldwin. All these guys were running underneath it, catching it like Willie Mays over the top of their heads. And by the way, Baker Mayfield and Russell Wilson, the 2 quarterbacks who he was working with in those situations, they don't have the strongest arms in the world. So it's not like you need Josh Allen's, Joe Milton's cannon attached to their shoulder to throw deep balls in this offense. So the reason why I'm painted into a small box about this question, and even as you heard at the end, Dave Canales acknowledged he wants more deep balls in the offense. The reason why I'm like painted into a corner here is because I don't want you to ever force a deep ball. So if Bryce Young is making the right decision and it's saying don't throw it deep, I never want to look to a quarterback and say throw it deep, because that's how problems happen. You say make the right read. If it's a deep ball, great. With that being said, the coaching staff needs to manufacture some plays where the right, and it could be something simple as like you have a play action called on offense. You're going to fake it to the running back and have a deep shot downfield. Walk by the safeties and go, hey, you guys have been really soft against the run today. What's going on? You guys like getting run all over? I guarantee you they'll be like, oh, I'm going to show coach on this one. You flash that running play, they'll be coming flying downhill. All of a sudden,
crowd the box.
All of a sudden, they're not keeping everything in front of them. Right? You can manipulate a little bit. It's not that simple, but you can, or call a blitz or do something more concrete that'll guarantee the play is open downfield. Let Bryce Young complete a deep ball. The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan is coming up after the Adam Gold Show on 99.9 The Fan. Everywhere else, you'll be back to your regular programming. See, that's a save. I started calling it the show I host every day. Came back around the side. This is the Adam Gold Show is what I meant to say. I'm Tim Donnelly, subbing in for Adam today. Done that a lot more today than I've done other times subbing in for Adam. Adam Gold Show will be back with a little review and some more Olympic talk coming up next.
Raleigh to Boone, Charlotte to Chapel Hill. Your Carolina is covered. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Adam Gold here for my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, and they are the best place to bet the games this summer because right now, new customers can get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Then you can bet on all your favorite international teams in all your favorite sports, from basketball to badminton and soccer to swimming. FanDuel has it all. Don't miss your chance to score $150 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. Just visit FanDuel.com/AGS to sign up and start betting the games today. Make every moment more with FanDuel. 21 or over and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
The North Carolina News Network and the North Carolina Healthcare Association invite you to listen to our latest podcast. Hospitals play a key role in emergency readiness alongside first responders who protect us from any scenario. During this month's conversation on the state of healthcare, we take an in-depth look at the role that First Health Moore Regional Hospital played at the U.S. Open in Pinehurst. We'll talk with Moore Regional President Jonathan Davis, who says,
we start our day with an 8:30 safety huddle. We call it looking back, looking forward in our day, to kind of highlight and bring forward any concerns or organizational issues, community issues that may occur.
We also speak with Dr. Catherine Newell with First Health EMS. She reiterates,
we spent about a year beforehand meeting with federal, state, and local representatives to ensure a thorough preparation for the event.
You can listen to our latest conversation wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts or by visiting nchealthcare.org.
From the mountains to the coast, there is tremendous pride in North Carolina agriculture. NC Forever Farms is a program recognizing family farms that are protecting precious working lands vital to the future of agriculture. Through permanent agricultural conservation easements, these NC Forever Farms will always be protected from development. Learn more about preserving family farms through the Farmland Preservation Division of the North Carolina Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services by visiting ncadfp.org.
Healthcare.gov is here for you when life happens. If you lost your health coverage because of turning 26, going off Medicaid, leaving your job, or moving, you could be eligible to enroll in new coverage now. And if you need to update your coverage because of marriage or having a baby, you could also be eligible. But don't wait. There's a limited time to enroll. Check your eligibility at healthcare.gov today. Life happens. Get covered. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Are you struggling with your Medicare drug costs? The NC Department of Insurance SHIP program may be able to help. The Extra Help and Medicare Savings programs are available for those who qualify, but you have to apply. Contact SHIP today to see if you qualify. Visit ncshiip.com or call toll-free at 855-408-1212. SHIP provides free, unbiased help in all 100 counties.
Project supported by grants from the Administration for Community Living. Contents do not necessarily represent official views of, nor an endorsement by ACL, HHS, or the U.S. government.
NC Medicaid is healthcare coverage for more North Carolinians. Just go to medicaid.nc.gov and fill out the needed information. Or call our Medicaid Contact Center. You can put pen to paper and fill out an application. And email, mail, or drop it off at your local Department of Social Services. And you can work with a navigator like Marvell at your local library. Don't wait, you can apply at any time and get covered starting the date of your application.
NC Medicaid is for more people. See if you qualify at medicaid.nc.gov.
This is Adam Gold.
Subway Series, Game 2. Mets, Yankees, should be fun. Good luck to the Yankees, not at all. The Mets are underdogs at home, plus 110. No respect at all for the team that is playing the best baseball in the month of June.
How McRude.
The Adam Gold Show.
The Adam Gold Show here on a Tuesday. Tim Donnelly filling in. The Olympics are going on. I'll give you an update here. Oh, my TV just froze. All right, we're back. The United States women's national soccer team, I believe it just ended. Did it end?
I was going to say, this match is still going on?
They had to play the 2 full overtimes, extra times, I think they call it in soccer. But for the second consecutive game in both the quarterfinals and the semifinals, the United States women's national soccer team has won in extra time. They beat Japan in extra time 1-0, and they just defeated, as of moments ago, it's gone final, Germany in extra time. They are headed to the gold medal match. They will, I don't know who they're going to face, but they are 1 win away from gold. And about as exciting a path as you could possibly take. Goodness gracious, that was exhilarating.
US of A, baby, let's go.
I feel bad because Adam is such the soccer guy. He would have loved to have done this show with that on the screen. Actually, hopefully he's somewhere enjoying it and didn't have to talk his way through it.
There's soccer on. Adam's close to a television.
Could just sit back and enjoy it.
Do you think we fit our quota for today, by the way, of mentioning golf and soccer on the Adam Gold Show?
We might do it a few more times. We still got a half hour. That was really cool. That was really fun. And now they're at worst silver medalists. Which, by the way, if you're paying attention to the medal count, let me refresh here to make sure we're up on it. People's Republic of China is in first in gold medals with 22. United States, we are in second with 21. We do have a handful that I'm pretty confident in, but I'm sure China has a handful that they're pretty confident in. Could come down to the wire for gold medals. Australia is in third with 14. In total medals, the United States is rolling. We are in the lead with 79, and People's Republic of China second with 56. So rolling there pretty comfortably. Can I make one suggestion to the Olympics?
Go right ahead.
I absolutely love the Olympics, okay? I get excited for it. I like the sports that I don't like when they are in the Olympics. I like them. I like the sports that I don't know when they are in the Olympics. I like them. I have a proposed change. I have a few things I would nitpick. Do you know what the repechage is? Repechage? These little, like, you didn't make it out of the semifinals, but you get one more try thing. I'd do away with that. But that's not my main thing. The only thing I think the Olympics needs is I think they need to end with a bigger bang.
Okay.
The last day of the Olympics, I looked up the schedule today because I was just trying to, see what's going on. The last day of competition with the Olympics is a lot of handball, water polo, the women's marathon. There's a bunch of indoor cycling, like a whole bunch of indoor cycling, and the women's basketball bronze and gold medal games. Very good sports. I'll watch them, especially because it's the last one and you won't get another for 4 years. So I'm in. How about you always end the Olympics with the men's and women's 100-meter dash?
Ooh.
Last thing you do, right? They cross the line, 100-meter dash, boom, and like flames. There's some kind of torch passing. It's like something cool. Because the 100-meter dash, I don't know if this is the same for everybody else. It's like the most Olympic of the Olympic sports to me.
Yeah.
It just seems.
Or the triathlon.
Yeah, maybe the triathlon. Something that like super Olympic-ish.
Your final destination, the triathlon, is the Eiffel Tower.
Where
it all started
like that.
with the opening ceremony.
So you could, imagine if Noah Lyles, that race, boom, done, right? It would feel like the soccer game we just watched, right? Like extra time, like it ended with a bang rather than like, cool, let's watch indoor cycling. And no disrespect to indoor cycling. It could be a great, day 8 activity rather than a final day activity. Or how about this? Do something cool based, like, if you don't want to always do the 100-meter, because maybe that's unfair, right? Like, oh, why does track always get the blah, blah, blah? What if it was something cool and specific to each host city that ended it? You brought up the Eiffel Tower. Did you watch any of the beach volleyball?
Bits and pieces of it.
Beach volleyball was like right at the base of the Eiffel Tower. Like you could see the Eiffel Tower. It was like 100 yards away. So why not have it finish with beach volleyball right at the base of the Eiffel Tower at night? And guess what? As soon as that final point, spike, block, whatever it is, Boom. Fireworks off the Eiffel Tower like it's New Year's. Something cool. Triathlon. If it ends under the Eiffel Tower, soon as that winner goes underneath, boom. Although that might not be bad because other people are going to be trying to finish.
Yeah.
But that's all. That's one of the only things wrong I see with the Olympics.
LeBron has to leave, crossing the Seine River, holding the American flag when he came in.
Just it needs a better end. The closing ceremonies are not as baller as the opening ceremonies.
LeBron, rather than dribbling out the clock, at the very end just slams dunk, gives a slam dunk one more time for everybody watching. Not out of disrespect, because all those people over in France, it's their one time getting to see LeBron in person.
It's
gotta give the people what they want.
Yeah, just do something. I just need a better ending.
Steph Curry, one last 3-pointer as time expires, even though they're up by 20. Maybe that will even help them cover.
Play right under the Eiffel Tower. And by the way, in L.A., it can be like finishing the marathon on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. It can be something in the Coliseum, like because L.A. is in 2028. They're hosting. Just something cool. A rock climber.
Beverly Hills.
You finish at the Hollywood sign. I don't know, or it's just a 100-meter dash in the Coliseum, which would be cool. The Olympics need to end better. Because, I'm saying, the 200 meters is going to be done here in the next couple of days, and it's like, wait a second, what things are we looking forward to for that last day? And there really isn't much of the premier events. Imagine if Simone Biles did something on the last day. Instead, she's completely done already. Adam Gold Show, we're going to continue here, kind of taking a walk around, a little review around what we talked about here today. Bryce Young, this was breaking news at the beginning of the show. It feels like forever ago now. It was like 2.5 hours ago. Bryce Young will not be playing in the preseason opener. They're still debating on preseason game 2 and 3, but he will not be playing when the Panthers open up their preseason this Thursday against the Patriots. I don't love it. I think Bryce Young needs reps. And, we can go into the justification for it, right? You're protecting against injury. I get it. But what's the reason you protect against injury? Right? It's to protect the regular season. It's to protect if you think you're going to be a contender. It's to protect something you're going for. If this year is a rebuilding year, which it is for the Panthers. Let's not get carried away.
It's not sugarcoated.
And think, 11, 12 wins is a possibility. This is a year where 8 wins becomes a massive success. 8 wins is still below 500. So getting hurt in the preseason or getting hurt in a regular season game that doesn't have a chance of leading to the postseason, is it that different? It's really not. Right? It's the stats will count, I guess, and I don't know, the other team's starters will be on the field also. But if he gets hurt on Thursday, if anyone gets hurt on Thursday, and they miss the first month of the season, what's the real harm to the Panthers? Maybe they lose one more game, right? It goes from a 7-win great season to a 6-win season. The reason why you don't play your starters in the preseason is if you have some kind of great astronomical, we're going for it regular season to protect. If not, then today's goal, tomorrow's goal, the next day's goal, week 7's goal, week 15's goal, every goal is the same. You're just trying to get better and position yourself to have a better future.
This isn't a Joe Burrow situation. He's coming off an injury last season with the Cincinnati Bengals, and you're trying to hold him out as long as possible since he is prone to injuries, or Aaron Rodgers coming back and playing for the New York Jets this season.
And you can go back and listen to our initial reactions at the top of the show when this news broke. The very first thing I said was, if there's injury news that we are unaware of, if Bryce Young, he doesn't even have to be hurt. If he's a little banged up, shoulder's a little sore,
the ankle from last season,
hammy's a little tight. If any of that is the case, sit him, right? And then listen to dumbos like me saying, you got to play him, and just go think to yourself, he doesn't know the whole story. Then sit him. If his offensive line is hurt, all right? If you're out there and Ike Ekwonu isn't hurt or is hurt, or
Chandler Zavala,
whoever is going to be that first team offensive line, if there's a significant injury there that is holding them back, don't play any of them, right? Don't put Bryce Young out there behind a patchwork offensive line unless you have to in a regular season game. That, again, don't play him. Listen to somebody like me and go, this dummy doesn't know what he's talking about. But if Bryce Young is healthy, the offensive line is healthy, I think the reps are more important than the Panthers are acting as, right? I think the reps, I think him being out there, getting just another opportunity to lead his team, even though it's the preseason, even though nobody cares, even though, if you play great in the preseason and bad week 1, nobody thinks about it. It's still an opportunity for him to look the part, act the part, go out there and play. I think he should play. We have the announcement from Dave Canales on him not playing. Go ahead and bring that audio up for us very quickly. We'll play it for you just so Dave Canales, you can hear it from
can I beat the clock? Yes, I can.
You can hear it in his own voice. But again, earlier today, post-practice today, the Panthers had some media availability, and Dave Canales said that Bryce will not be playing on Thursday.
Bryce will not play. Okay, and then we'll take that kind of week to week and get a sense for, do we need to get him out there in this system and kind of get a couple of series, and do that. That's something that, I've done in the past. We've done both. So for this game, he will not play.
There you go. That's straight from the horse's mouth, the head coach himself. Moving on here. Yesterday, the USA Today coaches poll came out. We talked about this a bit during – what is it? One hitters. What is it? What is it called?
One-timers.
One-timers. There you go.
Thought you were getting ready to say the drive with Tim Donnelly for a second.
Nope. I definitely went with a different reference there. NC State, 22nd in the coaches poll. There's 4 ACC teams in the coaches poll. Have them here in front of me. Florida State, top 10, just barely at 10. Clemson, 14, and then Miami at 19, and NC State at 22. I think it's important, more so than like a mid-season ranking or poll, more so than a end-of-season for sure ranking or poll, that you remember preseason polls should come with a for now designation, right? Which, I like to use right now as a signifier that coaches are changing their mind. If a head coach ever comes out and says, we'll use, I saw the Vikings named Sam Darnold their starter on their first unofficial depth chart. If they were to come out and say, Sam Darnold is our starter right now, that right now means, we anticipate this changing.
A clock immediately starts ticking down, and it's like, all right, well then how many weeks into the season until he's no longer named
because then
the starter?
Even 10 minutes into the future, if they go, J.J. McCarthy's our starter, you're going to go, you just lied to me. You just said it's Sam Darnold. And they'll go, no. He was our starter right then. 10 minutes later, he is no longer our starter. If the court reporter would read back the proceedings, you'll see I did not perjure myself. The preseason polls should be similar. NC State is number 22 in the country in the USA Today coaches poll right now, with the expectation being a month into the season, I guarantee you they will not be, I don't think, anywhere even really close to 22, because they play number 14 Clemson and number 15 Tennessee before that, right? And that's the first month. You beat both of those, you're a top 10 team in the country. If you lose both of those, you're unranked. If you lose one of those particularly ugly and win the other, you're probably unranked. Right? It's NC State will not be 22nd going into the bulk of their ACC schedule on October 5th versus Wake Forest. And oh, by the way, Clemson will not be 14th. Clemson's schedule in their first 5 weeks has Georgia in week 1, NC State, I believe, in week 3.
App State week 2.
App State between them. And then Florida State week 5.
We'll know by mid-October if Clemson's a ACC championship contending team or not.
Clemson will either be a top 5 team in the country or tumbling.
They might be out of the top 25.
That's why these, and like I get the need for them, right? You got to start somewhere, right? You have to have somewhere for the rankings to start. I get it, but I don't look at these and put much stock into them simply because a lot of it's going to be sorted out on the field. It's when you see this in the college football playoff 4-team era. We're now in the 12-team era, but in the old 4-team era, sometimes you'd see like Auburn and Alabama 5th and 7th, and say Alabama's 5th and Auburn 7th. And Auburn fans would get all bent out of shape. Oh, why? We're in the SEC. We have the same. We have this win. We did this. We beat this team on the road. And I'm looking at them going, come on, listen up, buddy. You're going to play Alabama later this season. It's going to settle itself out on the field. If you think you're the better team, you should be ranked 5th. You're going to then you beat them, and then you'll be ranked higher. Like it's I look at the college football top 25 poll right now, the coaches poll, and I'm going like NC State may feel like they should be higher.
Might feel a little disrespected.
Maybe they're like, hey, Miami hasn't done anything more than us. They're 19th, we're 22nd. Maybe they feel disrespected. Guess what? You play 2 top 15 teams in your first month of your schedule. It'll settle itself, right? Do you have a problem? Yes. Do you know how to fix it? Yes. Then you don't have a problem, right? You just have a task. You have something you have to go do, right? Oh, my car won't start. Oh, geez, that's a massive problem. Actually, there's no gas in it. Oh, that's not a problem. You just got to walk down there. You got to fill up a jug. You got to bring it back, fill up the tank, and then it'll ride. That's not a problem. You just got a task. You got a chore. NC State, yeah. Clemson, sure. Maybe you're disrespected. You don't have a problem. You have a task. Go win the games in the first month of your season, and it'll be solved. You'll be cooking with gas, as they say.
I know you don't believe in superstition.
I do not.
I believe in NC State stuff, and I feel like as NC State fans hopefully would agree with me, is it a little bit better that you fly under the radar a little bit, especially in these early preseason polls? Because I remember 2 years ago, Tim, when NC State was preseason ranked, I believe 13, and they opened the season.
Devin Leary was everybody's golden boy.
Devin Leary's senior year Heisman conversations going into the season, and I remember week 1 down in Greenville, North Carolina, for our good friends listening on 94.3 The Game, 21-20 win. Say that 3 times fast against ECU, and it made you realize, oh boy, this is not the 13th ranked team in the country. No disrespect to ECU.
True. But do you think the reason why they underperformed against ECU was because they were ranked 13th?
I think it was a little bit of both. I think it was because of the high expectations, and also ECU week 1 of college football. You never know what's going to happen. That tends to be where a lot of chaos and a lot of upsets happen. I think ECU was just a little power hungry, welcoming the 13th team in the country, and they rose to the occasion. Unlike NC State, who kind of just tried to squeak out of Greenville with a win.
I look at it like this: the best teams I've been a part of, the best teams I've covered, the best teams I've watched, been a fan of, they are the ones that never had to worry about your head getting too big, never had to worry about motivation, right? If you genuinely are worried about a football team, especially because it's such a great team game, physical, you need every person on the roster. If you're worried about like, oh, we might be, drinking our own Kool-Aid or whatever, we're believing the hype, you got bigger problems, right? It's oh great, we're 22nd rather than 13th, so now we can be motivated. I'm going like if that was the difference between you being locked in for week 1 or not being locked in for week 1, then that's going to bubble to the surface and cost you a win at some point anyway. Whether eventually, by the way, like NC State, there's legitimate dark horse college football playoff vibes, right? They're like they spend a bunch of money in the transfer portal. They're going for it. If you're going to make the college football playoff, at some point, somebody's going to believe in you, right? At some point, there's going to be somebody on a national television station saying, I think NC State is the best team in the blah, blah, blah.
You're getting a bid for College Game Day to come to the stadium or to one of your home games this year.
So if you're starting the season 22nd and you're like, oh, good, that way they can slide under the radar. It's like, well, you're not going to achieve any of your goals completely under the radar. Your goals are on the radar. Your goals are like middle of the field spotlight on you, blinking radars and alarms going off. So I look at it in that way. which is why I'm not super upset. Like, I'm ACC through and through, right? I work in ACC country. I grew up in ACC country. I would have played in the ACC if any of them wanted me. That was my thing. I could get upset that there's no single-digit ACC teams.
Yeah.
Right? I could. But I'm thinking like I just described the teams should be thinking, which is if they're good enough, they're going to have the chance. The schedules for the good teams in the ACC are not easy, right? They challenge themselves. Florida State challenges themselves, right? They play, I believe, LSU like right out the gate. They play Miami plays Florida right out the gate. Clemson, we've talked about their schedule. NC State, we've talked about their schedule. If you're good, these rankings are good enough for you to make some hay. And I believe Virginia Tech was in the also receiving votes category. So even if they string together, a 6 or 7 win streak to start the season, they'll be A-okay in the top 25. If your goal is to make the college football playoff, there is absolutely nothing that is going to stop those 4, 5, 6 teams at the top of the ACC, aside from losing games. And guess what? I believe losing games is the thing that should prevent you from making the college football playoff, right? Hey, we need to figure out which 12 teams are best at playing football. I would love to decide that by playing football. So I'm fine with it. Again, if I had my druthers, would I change some things? Yeah. But in the scheme of things, it's not worth getting worked up about.
I don't know if the term under the radar was the correct one to use because, as you mentioned, great point. You're going to have to face the radar eventually when the red light's going off. But that red light and that challenge is week 2 against Tennessee when that same coach's poll
Darn right.
is ranked 15. And that, to me, that game dictates how the rest of the season is going to go just because I think the early line out right now is Tennessee minus 5.5. If you're State and you're able to cover that even with a loss, you still have the rest of the season ahead of you. Now, if you go out there and lose by anything more than 2 touchdowns, then I'm kind of questioning, all right, are we back to maybe another 8-5, 9-5 finish this season?
Well, I look at it like, by the way, Florida State does not play LSU. I misspoke on that. They play Florida at the end of the season. They do play Clemson. They do play Miami. They do play Notre Dame.
SMU too, correct?
They do play SMU. They do play Cal, who some are high on. Not the hardest early schedule, but they have their chances middle of the schedule to the end. Going back to what you were saying, if NC State is a team, and this goes for all of them, right? If Miami is a team that can get a big head and get ahead of themselves, that first big win is going to do them in, right? Look at NC State's schedule. First big win against Tennessee, Louisiana Tech the next week, between Tennessee and Clemson.
Yep.
If you get real high on your own supply, then that Louisiana Tech game will smack you in the face. And then Clemson darn sure will. So it's you got to be locked in regardless of where everything is. I do want to thank everybody for spending some time with us here on the Adam Gold Show today. My name is Tim Donnelly. I host The Drive with Tim Donnelly every weekday on 99.9 The Fan, which does air the Adam Gold Show, but I understand many other markets also air the Adam Gold Show. So if you are outside of the triangle and you are outside the realm of 99.9 The Fan, which is where we broadcast The Drive, please, I just ask if you like what you heard today, you can check us out on YouTube, 99.9 The Fan. We live stream there, same place as the Adam Gold Show. You can follow me on Twitter at Donnelly Sports. You can do the same for Graham. Graham, what's your Twitter handle?
At Graham Hill 98.
Graham Hill 98. Is that because you were born in 98?
Correct.
Goodness gracious. I was hoping that was like a radio station or something.
Graham Hill was taken by the Indy race car driver.
Oh.
I'm joking.
Okay. Didn't know that.
Twitter was not around back then.
But either way, going back to what I was saying, follow us on YouTube, 99.9 The Fan. Like, subscribe if you enjoyed what you heard today. We are going to be cranking out Panthers content, not only from myself, but we have Panthers Playbook Podcast. We have everything Adam Gold does, which is great, covering the Panthers as well, all of his guests. And we have Pack Therapy come back. We did talk a lot of NC State today. Unintentional, but Pack Therapy podcast featuring myself and former State quarterback Mike Glennon will be coming out shortly, first of the season as well. So until next time, everybody have a wonderful time. Adam will be back tomorrow. Thank you to Graham for keeping us up and running. I had fun. Hopefully you did as well. Thanks, everybody.